There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people to see if they could become something more. So when we needed them, they could fight the battles that we never could. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to a very special presentation we have for you at Nerd Culture. Tonight, we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of arguably one of the greatest, biggest, most influential films in cinematic history. It is Marvel's The Avengers. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Welcome to this very special presentation. We are so happy to have you with us. But, as I stated in the description of this video, some assembly is required. So I am not alone in going back to the year 2012 for Marvel's The Avengers. I am joined by my fellow Avengers fans and good friends of mine, I should say, and hopefully they'll be your new best friend. Joining us on our squad tonight, starting with the one and only Dave Adams, the golden voice of the South. Dave, how you doing, buddy?
I am well, sir. How are you? It's been a while since I've been introduced as the golden voice of the South, the human jukebox. Dave Adams, coming to you live and in living color from the top of the state of Alabama. That's right, in the Geek at Birth podcast studios. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing quite well. Thank you very much for being with us. We do appreciate it. It is so good to see you, my good friend. And also joining us on the team tonight, he is the sinister one of movie trivia within the FCL, the First Class League, and maybe he'll debut in another league or so somewhere down. I don't know. We'll have to leave that up to someone's imagination. But please welcome Mr. Sinister, James Shimo. Yeah, James, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, Ryan. Thanks a lot for having me. It's good to be here. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is on the horizon, but what better way to celebrate that than by celebrating the movie that literally made it possible to explore all these different realities and all these different characters that we have come to know and love in the MCU. The OG crew, the original gangsters. I'm ready for this.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for being with us. We do appreciate it. Happy to have you here. Very happy to have you both here. Also, we are going to be joined by another familiar face. They will be joining us a little bit later on. But before we get to, oh, wait a minute. Is this person here? No, wait a minute. They're having a little bit of trouble in their background. So I'll give them a moment to adjust their sets. But I want to go around the horn real quick, and this will give the panelists backstage who I will bring on here in just a minute. Just a minute. Patience, young grasshopper. So I want to go around the horn here before we cue up the movie. And by the way, we are going to be watching the movie tonight, so feel free to get your copy of the movie ready, whether it's physical media or streaming service. Cue it up. We're going to start at the 5-second mark, just to give you an idea, but we will let you know when we are about to start the film. Dave, why do you have to bring up that background? Anyway, I'm going to turn things over to you
for the 15th anniversary of the movie coming out.
We don't talk about it, and it's not. Never mind. Anyway, that's a story for another day.
Like Bruno, we don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it. James is right. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to breathe, take a deep breath. All right, we're cool. So, Dave, James, and our panelists backstage, who I'll bring on momentarily. Here's the question: what was your And by the way, this is the Cliff Notes version. I would like you to present us with, if possible.
Oh boy!
So, did you know anything about these characters before this film came out? And also, what were your expectations going in to see 2012's Marvel's The Avengers? Dave, kick us off.
So I grew up on comic books. As a young lad, my pastor actually owned a comic book shop, and so every Christmas he would buy me the little Marvel plastic characters, and I knew all of these characters. I knew the backstories. I was super excited for this movie coming out. This is really, and we'll get into this later, but this is the first time that this had really been tried on the big screen. So while I had high expectations, because if anyone's watched any of my other podcasts or listened to any of my other podcasts, you'll know I'm a huge Disney nerd. And Disney getting their hands on Marvel and doing all this stuff with Marvel, I knew this was going to be up to that par. But I did not know how awesome it would turn out. And this movie, I think, save a couple of things, it really blew my socks off. So we shall go from there.
Excellent. So thank you for sharing that with us, Dave. Do appreciate it. Now, I want to turn things over to Sinister One, James Shimo. What was your history, if any, with these characters prior to seeing 2012's Marvel's The Avengers? And also, what were your expectations going in to see The Avengers, James. What do you got?
I mean, when it comes down to it, like I had some familiarity with a lot of these characters because I used to watch like the old school. Like I'd find my dad was a huge fan of retro media, so he'd find like the old Blockbuster tapes that had like the old school, like Iron Man, Tony Stark, like that old school stuff. Even with the Captain America ones, I remember watching reruns of the Hulk show with Bill Bixby with my dad as well. So I was familiar with a good handful of these characters. And of course, I had seen all the movies leading up into this, but even I had to wonder, is this possible? Because you got to think, if this bombed, if this just did not work, the last 10 years doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And I, again, as crazy as it is to think there's a universe potentially out there where the MCU stopped at the Avengers because it just didn't work. And I don't know that I ever want to visit that realm of the multiverse. I really don't.
I was going to say, would you dare say we see that in the multiverse on Friday?
I personally hope not. But no, I mean, if there was anybody who could pull it off, and knowing his track record, working with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies and everything, and then transitioning into his role at Marvel, it is of course our Lord and Savior, as it were, Lord Kevin of the House Feige, King of the Sweaties and of the Inner Geekdom. Protector of Marvel Studios, and just you get my point. Long may he reign, So, but yeah, for any of you Game of Thrones fans out there, I know I botched that heavily, and I apologize.
No, it's fine. Are there any other monikers you wish to grace Kevin Feige's presence with? Because we know Kevin's watching this in his $1 million mansion back home.
So let me ask. Here's the first tangent of the night, and Ryan can tell you I'm the best tangent person in the world.
Wow, and we haven't even gotten to our next guest yet. Okay.
I know. So let me ask you.
Get a timer on this.
Let me ask you this, James, and Ryan and Kelly. We can all get into this here. Who would you say is more important to their universe, Dave Filoni at Star Wars, or Kevin Feige at Marvel? Because both of those men are considered to be the saviors of those cinematic universes.
We're going to be here all night, folks.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
that's a hell of a debate right there.
That's a really good debate that we certainly do not have time for, considering this movie is 2 hours and 30 minutes long. And I'm sure some of us have, other things to do after this show.
I got work in the morning.
Sorry, Ryan, you're the one that brought me into this. You knew.
Yeah, now this is regret number 52 that Ryan has for the night. So, with that being said, real quick, I'll do this rapid fire to save everyone some time. Kevin Feige.
Really? Okay.
I'm going to go with Feige. I like Filoni, but I haven't seen everything that Filoni has touched. I haven't seen all his projects. I mean, I've seen enough to say that I like the dude and I would hang out with him at the party next weekend. But I can't, say, oh, you're the Godfather. You made a deal. We made an offer you couldn't refuse. Like, for me, it's Feige because I have a lot more experience with Feige's work, more so than Filoni. No offense to Filoni. No offense.
I get it. But
anyway, Shimo, who's your answer to this rapid fire question? Because Lord knows, we got to introduce our next panelist.
Yeah, of course. I'll make this brief. Here's the thing. Filoni, great. Love Clone Wars. Love Rebels. All that stuff. Great. Love what he did with certain sections of Mandalorian and all of that. But again, he's still somewhat untested in terms of a cinematic experience. So just for that reason, Feige's been working on movies since 2002. So he's got the track record. So I'm sorry, I got to go with Feige on this one.
So here's why I'm going to say Filoni, and my Star Wars bias is probably going to come out here a little bit.
I mean, but it is May the 4th. Let it fly.
Even though we're not supposed to be talking about that property on this show, but I get it.
Sorry, but you brought
talk about Star Wars. No,
you hush now.
We've already made that joke once already.
No, here's why I say this.
Go ahead.
Filoni has taken my childhood and brought it to the big screen and brought it to the small screen, let's say. Everything about The Mandalorian and bringing Ahsoka Tano to actual real life.
So good.
More than likely bringing everybody that we've read about and bringing these legacy stories, not the non-canon stories, and bringing them kind of into the Star Wars canon. I think he's done more and will do more than Feige, because Feige has some very black and white things he has to do. What Filoni is doing is bringing in this entire world of Star Wars that hasn't really had a good beginning, middle, and end. And he is bringing it all into one timeline.
I mean,
Anyway,
valid, but you also recognize that both of them now have to contend with Darth Chapek. So there's any number of hurdles.
That is a name we don't mention. That is a we don't talk about Chapek. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Once again, we'll be here all night, folks. Great question. But anyway, I want to take this opportunity to welcome our next panelist on tonight's festivities, known as the 10th anniversary of Marvel's The Avengers and not Star Wars. Jeez. Put it in the background for Pete's sake.
45th anniversary.
I know. You told me I couldn't wear my Leia wig.
I'm sorry. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kelly Gettner, one half of the Phoenix Sisters cosplay dynamic duo, I should say. Kelly, first of all, welcome to the program. Second of all, just to answer the question real quick so we can move on with our lives and Dave can stop pestering us about, well, who's the bigger god of entertainment? Is it Filoni or is it Feige?
Fine.
At this moment, it's Feige, because which universe has more mass appeal at this moment? 10 more years? We'll see.
Okay. She's got a point. So, Kelly, do you regret being on this program tonight? No, you don't. Of course not. No. Kelly, we are happy for you to be here with us. We are very happy that you are here, and we're glad that you're here. So to give everyone some P's and Q's about what we're doing tonight, we are going to watch this film. So cue it up on your streaming service. Cue it up on your physical media player if you have to. We are going to start it at the 5-second mark as the Marvel logo is coming up on your screen respectively. So 5-second mark is where we're going to cue this thing up at. And while we watch this movie, we're going to be sharing our thoughts, our feelings, our opinions, our memories, our moments, all that favorite stuff we're going to share with you verbally. But if you have any questions or comments or memories you want to share about Marvel's The Avengers and not Star Wars, let us know in the comments and make sure you are sharing this.
You did this on May the 4th.
Dave, we'll get into that. Make sure you share this video with all 200 of your closest friends. They're going to like the way they look after watching this video. I guarantee it. Now, Dave, I know what you're going to say. And look, there is more. Listen, this town is big enough for two fandoms on the same day. So, yes, for those of you who do celebrate it, but we're here to focus on the Avengers. Anyway.
I feel like Kelly and I are going to have to be like that referee from Celebrity Deathmatch. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on.
Now, where's the, all right, let's get it on. Anyway, I remember watching that show on MTV late nights. That's going way back, guys. That's going way back.
Oh, yeah.
So, are we ready to assemble our squad and watch this thing?
No, we don't say those words. We don't say that until Endgame.
Whatever, dude. Whatever. Semantics.
Spoilers, sweetie.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Anyway.
I just brought a whole other fandom into this.
You did too. It's okay, Kelly. We love you all the more for it. So we are going to watch this movie in 3, 2, 1. Avengers, assemble. Let's go.
Not until the Endgame.
I'm sorry, but I've waited so many years to say this. So give me, what's the expression? Throw me a freaking bone here.
Ooh, there's another fandom.
I know, and that film just celebrated 25 years the other day.
Good God, am I that old?
The first one turned 25 the other day.
Oh my gosh.
Anyone remember that?
I remember the original Austin Powers. Good grief.
I can quote all 3 of those movies, but we're not here to talk about that.
No, we're not, even though Dave brought it up. So
you brought it up. Throw me a freaking bone here, man.
I love throwing sometimes you got to throw your friends under the bus once in a while, just for kicks.
Oh, it happens all the time.
That's what friends are for.
All right, are we actually starting the movie? Or...
No, we did. We did start it.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Kelly. Yes.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yep. We're at the 1 minute mark now, Kelly. 1 minute.
Oh well, I'm a couple seconds
on the screen.
I'm a couple seconds behind too. Hang on.
It's okay. It's okay. It's where we are. We're looking at a glowing Tesseract right now.
Yep.
Ooh.
Well, the Tesseract is like, zzz,
Yeah.
And now the helicopter comes in and it's flying over to the base. So that's where we are in the film known as Marvel's The Avengers of 2012. And thank you so much again for being with us. Good Lord, we have comments all over the chat room because of you, Dave. So we got Reed saying hello there. Dave Mattingly says, my favorite of the Star Wars. Wrong fandom, Dave. My favorite. Wrong fandom.
We're going to get some Star Wars trolling.
It's okay, but his favorite of the films is Rogue One, just so you know. That's his favorite.
a good one.
It's not a terrible choice.
By the way, Emily jumps in. Emily says, "Just when I thought this was going to be about the Avengers."
Facepalm.
Face palm emoji. I'm sorry, Emily, but we are now primarily focused on Marvel's The
There we
Avengers.
go,
So
Maria
please
Hill.
enjoy
I
the
have to
movie
say,
with
they
us,
picked
Emily.
A great actress to play Maria Hill and Kobe Smulders. Like, she is great in that role.
Dave Manley says Star Wars. I understood that reference.
There we go. Bringing it back.
The Avengers is totally my bag, baby. Yeah, as Dave says.
Not me,
Dave-
Dave. That Dave.
Dave says Avengers, some assembly required. That's right, man. That's right.
That was the
That was
tagline. Yep.
those words, some assembly required, are listed in the teaser trailer for this film.
I like it.
Which, by the way, I sent some of you that link earlier today. Did you get a chance to go back and watch the teaser?
Yes.
Yep, I did.
Oh, speaking of which, I didn't get a chance to bring this up before we started. But yeah, so my brief history with Avengers. I grew up on the animated shows like X-Men. Kelly knows a little thing about that. Spider-Man, and I watched the animated series of Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk. And that was, I liked those shows, but I didn't love them as much as I loved Spider-Man 94 and X-Men from 92. So those are my familiarities with some of the Avengers characters prior to seeing this movie. But then, I didn't read any of the comics growing up. I'm reading comics now, which I'm happy to say. Yeah, I'm a comics fan now. Been so for 5 years. Come at me, bro.
Yeah.
So
You're a comic baby.
I am. Thank you for noticing.
And plug your new show.
Yes, Crayley Vaness, who's the other half of Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. We started a new show called Comic Books, the New Class, where we introduce new readers to comic books, and we give them some tips and some recommendations on what books they could check out to familiarize themselves with certain characters from certain properties. So if you want to check that out, that's on the back of the Cereal Box Podcast Network. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hashtag always promote your friends.
Yes.
So there's that. But yeah, that was my history with Avengers prior to seeing this movie. And then I went and saw the movies like everyone else did, like Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, which I think The Incredible Hulk is underrated. Thor, Captain America: First Avenger. And then I saw, by the way, seeing the teaser trailer at the end of Captain America: The First Avenger, I was like we were all just giddy after seeing that teaser trailer. We're like, oh my gosh, this is really going to happen? Can they actually pull this off? Is this actually really going to make sense to people who don't read the comics or people who may not be overly familiar with certain characters within the Marvel Universe? And boy, did this film succeed in spades, which we will talk more about as we go throughout the course of tonight's feature presentation. So that is my E! True Hollywood story briefly with the Avengers characters leading into 2012's The Avengers. So there you go. If anyone else has a story to share, let us know in the comments. How familiar were you with these characters prior to seeing the film? Or was this your introduction to the Marvel Universe? Was this your introduction to the, after you watched this movie, did you go to your local comic shop and say, hey, I'm really curious to learn more about these characters. Do you have any recommendations? Yeah, right over here. Yeah. We got hundreds of books right here.
Can I just say, this is another tangent?
God!
No, this is a good one. This
no
is
more about the other fandom that we are not supposed to discuss.
This is a good one.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm rewatching Big Bang Theory, and this will tie in. I promise. Mm-hmm. I have yet to find here in Huntsville a good comic book shop like the one that Stewart owns in Big Bang Theory, and I think that what this movie did was it brought that culture into the forefront and back away from the nerd culture. You like how I threw that out there? It brought it away from the nerd culture and made it kind of a mainstream. It's okay to also be a jock and still kind of a nerd.
Yes.
It brought that into kind of the everyday, let's go and watch a Marvel movie and maybe read the comics about it too.
Yeah, I would definitely say, between this movie and the Big Bang Theory, I'd agree with that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a story about that. So
sure.
Here we go.
Growing up,
do it. This is what we do.
This is what we do. Stick to the comics. Stick to Marvel, please, if possible.
Yeah, it is comic related. Okay. Growing up, I was really
comics are great.
I was into superheroes.
Sure.
This actually kind of dovetails into answering your question too in a roundabout way. So I was really into X-Men.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to the
Marvel 97
universe.
the 97 cartoon.
Yeah, that's
best
actually
theme song ever.
Best theme song ever. So that was my introduction, but I did not tell anyone that I was into superheroes and fantasy and sci-fi because I thought no guy's gonna want to date a girl who's into that stuff. And
if only you knew.
If only I knew.
If
only I knew. But I had it until I was in my mid-20s when I met my husband. That was 2006. And he's like, why are you hiding this part of who you are? So I stopped hiding it. And then the Marvel Universe comes along in 2008 and starts making it cool to be a geek. And I'm like, I stopped hiding just in time for it to become cool. So now it just looks like I'm jumping on the trend. And I'm sitting over here like trying to be a hipster. Like, I was into this way before all y'all. Like I was buying comics, not regularly.
But you find yourself turning into Aslan from Chronicles of Narnia. It's like, do not quote the comics to me. I was born to them, or something like that.
Do not recite the magic to me, witch. I was there when it was.
Here's what you do: is you can be the hipster by liking DC better than Marvel.
I actually do like DC better.
Yeah, see, Kelly and I are on the same wavelength when it comes to that. So
I think that DC could be
no offense to Marvel. No offense.
DC could be a better cinematic universe.
Yeah, but I know that's a whole separate thing. That's a whole separate.
We will not get on that tangent because
Kelly and I have an idea for.
All
a
I'll
show
say
like
is they're on the right track, getting rid of that Wonder Twins movie.
I'll say this. Back another tangent, but have y'all seen the Super Pets trailer?
I did not see the trailer.
I've seen the trailer for it, but I don't have. I've no desire to see it.
It looks awesome. Oh no! Come on, Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Unless listen.
Okay, no, I haven't seen the trailer. I've seen the art. The art looks cute, but yeah.
Rock is in it. I mean, come on.
I don't care. Unless it's Henry Cavill starring in Man of Steel Part 2, I don't care.
Henry Cavill won't be Superman again, unfortunately.
Which ticks me off to no end, which is a tangent for another show, but still.
All right. Speaking of Henry Cavill, let's say he was one to make a jump over to the Marvel Universe. Who could you guys see him playing?
Oh God,
he can play anything he wants because Henry Cavill is the man.
I was watching the John Campea show the other day, and somebody suggested he play Cyclops. I'm like, I'd be down for that.
Yes.
You want it as Scott Summers? Okay. I can see it. See, here's the problem though. I won't be able to look at his eyes.
If you're going to give me Henry Cavill,
he's my man crush, dude.
If you're going to give me Henry Cavill in the MCU, he's going to be Colossus.
Ooh.
Colossus. Yes. I've also seen Captain Britain being thrown around too.
I was going to say Captain Britain is the one I'm seeing a lot of.
Yeah.
But Colossus wouldn't be bad though. Who are you anyway? I am Colossus from Russia. Like I can totally see him pulling it off.
He could do it.
I'll tell you.
Dude, the guy is he is just jacked.
He's huge.
Although technically we do have Colossus in the MCU.
Yeah, because Deadpool's now a part of it.
Yeah, because Deadpool's part of the MCU, and Colossus is in Deadpool.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well,
give him Cyclops. Give him Cyclops.
See, Deadpool could be part of the MCU by crossing the multiverse, and they could. Yeah. We'll see.
We don't know if that Colossus is going to be like the Earth 1
tomorrow, or at least I will. I'm going 7:00 tomorrow night.
Enjoy that, by the way.
Okay, onto the movie. Maria Hill is being a badass here. Like,
yeah.
Maria Hill is underrated in this movie.
So I wasn't
given much to do in these films.
I'll say this,
she's got a decent part in Secret Wars.
Oh
yeah,
is she?
Maria Hill.
I don't know if she is or not, but I'm saying hopefully.
Was she in the Secret Wars comic?
Maria Hill, I don't think so. I'm just saying it would be nice if they wrote in a part 4. Kobe
Smulders. Hypothetically, yeah.
Yeah.
So keep in mind,
I thought you were saying that they were making a Secret Wars.
I'm saying, sorry, Dave Mattingly brought up an interesting suggestion in the chat if you want to bring that up.
Oh, yeah.
Henry Cavill
for Namor.
I'd be good with that.
I can see that.
Mariner with giant, what's his face? Spock ears?
I could see Sue Storm leaving her husband for Henry Cavill.
You and your suggestions. Sorry, I do realize that we do have a lot of comments coming in. I'm sorry. Dave is going off on one too many tangents, which prevents me from concentrating on the task at hand.
Fine, I'll mute myself.
No, Dave, what were you going to say about Colby?
Colby Smulders. Keep in mind, this came out in 2012, okay? Yep. We are in the height of How I Met Your Mother time frame.
Yeah.
I had a very hard time seeing Robin Sparkles as this badass Maria Hill.
It's definitely
I had no prior experience with How I Met Your Mother before seeing her in this movie, so this was my introduction to this actress.
See, I was a OG How I Met Your Mother fan. Like I watched it from the very first, all the way.
All the way.
Horrible horrible end to that series.
I heard they
Yeah.
bought.
We do not talk about that ending.
Not at all.
Once again, wrong property, wrong studio too. But anyway, I digress.
no, it ties in with the actress.
It
but
ties in.
yeah, Colby Smulders as a badass Maria Hill was really hard for me to see because I'm used to seeing her as this Canadian hockey
Goofy.
player,
Yeah.
tomboy. And she kind of does the tomboy look here, but not nearly.
Hey, it works for her.
Right, it does.
Dave Mattingly says the 90s Spider-Man did the Spider-Verse first, fellas.
Technically, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did the whole clone thing.
By the way, Dave says I've got all y'all trumped on nerd cred.
I mean,
I don't know, Dave. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. By the way, Reed says I never saw the 2012 film in theaters, and I have never seen this movie all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of this film. Well, you're in for a treat tonight, my friend. You better watch this movie with us just to catch you up. We are at the 12 minutes 35-second mark. So if you want to queue up your copy on a streaming service or a DVD, feel free to do so because this film is it's a treat.
This is one of my favorite scenes right here.
Yeah.
I've got him right. I got him right where I'm wanting. No, you don't. I wasn't about to say anything.
By the way, Dave Mattingly says if you like the trailer for Super Pets, I recommend the limited series Pet Avengers. Is that a thing?
Okay. I have no idea.
I hadn't seen that. Hey,
someone might want to Google this in the backstage area.
Dave said he's got us all beat on the nerd cred. Hold up. Watch my video.
Give Dave a minute here. Look at all the. Hold on a second. Hold on, Dave. There it is. Now I got you in full screen, Dave.
Hey, we got the same belt.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
There it is.
I got one sitting right here.
Look at those belts. What is it that he says in the MTS Sinister one? All the belts, all the records.
All the records. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Nice little display there, buddy boy.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. That's how
let's see here. Emily Kennedy says, OMG, I love Henry Cavill. Hardy.
Yes.
I don't think you're alone on that one, Emily.
Yeah.
Colossus, I would agree if he would be cast in that. And by the way, Reed says, I'm going to see the new film Doctor Strange Part 2 at 6:30 p.m. in Dolby Cinema and an AMC theater.
Nice.
So someone else said Henry Cavill as Cyclops. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but Cyclops will always be James Marsden for me.
Yes.
I can't see anybody but him playing Cyclops.
He got a little gyp there for a while.
He did.
And that's the thing. Is like Cyclops is probably the character that they'll have to do the most, damage control on when it comes to bringing him into the MCU because they've done him dirty in like almost every single iteration.
We see Natasha Romanoff laying the smackdown on these creeps.
Yeah, of course, Coulson's just sitting there, just listening.
By the way, Dave says Natasha's introduction in this film, The Avengers, is totally astounding. According to Dave.
But see, this wasn't her introduction to the MCU.
Well, no, he's just referring to the introduction to the film.
Look at this dress. Natasha's introduction to the MCU is one of my favorite lines of any Marvel movie ever. Iron Man or Tony Stark, I want one.
Yeah.
I want one. No.
Yeah. Which again sounds just, but based on modern context, sounds a little Me Too.
It does. But you can't look at like I was saying, go back and watch Big Bang Theory. You can't go back and look at something made in a different time period. Now, 10 years ago is a totally different time period. You can't put modern thinking in yesteryear art.
Right.
And to be fair,
try to pack modern sensibilities to something.
Natasha and Pepper both hand him his ass by the end of the movie.
Exactly. And so they do bring it into modern thinking.
No, to just return to Natasha's intro scene real quick.
Yeah.
This is spoilery for Hawkeye, so close your ears if you haven't seen it. But
I've seen it.
Sorry, Ryan. I like that there's a callback to what Natasha does.
I love all of this.
That's all I'll say. Ryan, you're good. You're good, Ryan.
So actually, no, keep him off, Ryan. Keep him off.
Oh, this is my show. Jeez.
It's
our show, really, because it's a family show. But I digress. And anyway, I have comments about certain scenes that are happening right now, but I'll get to that in a minute. But go ahead and spoil. Just give me this when you're done.
Yeah. We hear about Budapest, 3 or 4 times in this movie. We have yet to fully 1,000% understand the epics of Budapest.
I'm so mad that we didn't see full flashback to
I
that.
know.
In the
We
Black
got
Widow movie.
glimpses. We got some.
Yeah, we got bits and pieces. Could you imagine if they ever decided to go back and do like a Black Widow Hawkeye show and like show?
I need it.
Give us an animation. At
No,
this point,
exactly.
I want
Do what
live
they're
action,
doing with,
but at this point, I'll take
Spider-Man
animation.
freshman year, do an animated series. Exactly.
Yeah, I can see that. But
Give it to me.
we'll never see Black Widow back on screen, given Scarlett Johansson and Disney's
that
very
whole
ugly
debacle.
breakup.
Well, they made up now, and she's now in a
Oh.
producer role.
Ish.
Ah.
Okay, see, that's something I
So
did not
she's
hear.
actually now working with
You're good.
Marvel again, but
Okay.
she's not. She says she's not going to be in front of the camera anymore, but she's now in a
Yeah,
high
yeah,
up
producer
role
credits,
with
so.
Marvel. So
Okay.
it could happen.
It could. Okay.
Nice.
Hey,
Never say never.
yeah, really quick,
Exactly.
Ryan. What's Dave saying to me about knickknacks and
I'm
Here we
sorry.
go.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. So yeah, Ryan is back now that some spoilers can be pushed under the rug or
Hey.
swept under the rug.
can we tell
Dave
him?
says,
Can we tell him when
Dave,
Superman
I'm
showed
not
up
talking
in,
about collecting nerd knickknacks. I was a teenage rocket scientist writing space shuttle software for NASA, and I
Damn.
founded and ran a role-playing game company for over a decade.
That is some
Oh,
nerd cred.
Oh, you mean my NASA badge that I have right here?
Hold on a second. Bring that up to the
Okay.
camera again.
Oh,
My
damn.
NASA badge that I have right here.
By the way, Dave, Dave, welcome to level 7.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's
My
another
God,
Marvel
there
reference to get us
you are.
back on track for what we're actually supposed to be doing on this show.
Dave,
just
wait, by the
like-
way, Dave,
Yes.
thank you for hanging out and talking with us. This is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave is
That's all
he's a
good
good
fun.
friend of a lot of the shows here. He also chimes in a lot on the back of the Cereal Box Network. So Kelly, we blame you for his presence. No, I'm kidding.
I'll take the blame.
we
I
all-
do love and appreciate Dave very much.
Hey,
So, hi, Dave.
we're all friends here. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you? Anyway, we're
I
on
think
property.
my biggest claim to nerd cred from
Hmm?
my teen years is that
Yes.
I posed for the Dungeons and Dragons tie-in novel
Oh
cover.
my!
Nice.
Dragons of Autumn
Sweet.
Twilight.
Are
It was
you
the
serious?
re-release. It was the re-release, like
Oh.
for their 15th or 20th year.
Got it.
Hmm
So here's my nerd moment.
Eh.
I have never played Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh,
Really?
You know, I tried playing it a couple times and it just didn't work for me.
Didn't
work.
I actually I use D&D as a foundation for my creative writing class that I teach.
Too much improv for me.
I did take a mythology and Star Wars
basis
class.
for building a character, storytelling.
Improv is very hard for me.
So
It's brutal.
Really?
I can't do it.
That's shocking to me because of all the podcasts you do. I believe,
Yeah.
But that's
that-
because I prepare stuff ahead of time and I have
Oh.
something called show notes.
Oh,
Hey.
oh, that makes sense.
What if I showed you my desk? You would see a bottle of bourbon, an Xbox controller, and a TV controller. All this is on the top of my head.
Uh-huh.
mhm.
No, 9 times out of 10, I will have show notes in front of me for the shows that I'm doing, or if I'm co-hosting a show but I'm not the main host, as in the case of comic books, the new class, Crayley gives us the rundown, and then I just follow Crayley's lead because Crayley is awesome-tacular. So I just let her, drive the bus. I'm just along for the ride. By the way, Crayley, you're awesome.
We love you, Crayley.
Just want to give Crayley some credit here because she and I came up with this idea for this show, and we had such a lovely time during the pilot episode. It was so much fun. We're
It
looking
was a
forward
good
to the next
episode.
one, which I believe is going to be the 3rd Tuesday in May, which is a few weeks away. So stay tuned. More details will be posted on our social media as well.
Can I just say and bring it back into the Avengers movie here?
Yeah, hey, at
Uh-huh.
least I'm talking about comic books and not controllers for an Xbox.
Hey, I just said it was on my desk. I
Okay.
did.
Here we go.
Back to the movie.
It
Yeah.
is very hard for me to watch this with hindsight being 2020 because
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm seeing all these characters that I know what happens to them in movies down the road.
Future films, yeah.
It's very hard to see what's happening now and kind of seeing these beginning layers of these stories.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, and something I didn't get a chance to bring up earlier as I had to take off my headset for a few moments because some spoilers.
You know you love us.
It's
I
not
do.
our fault that you're behind.
I'm
Right?
extremely.
I
But
just
here's the
finished Moon
homework I
Knight
have to
earlier
do.
today.
Here's the homework I have to do. Shang-Chi, Eternals, Hawkeye, Moon Knight.
Okay, prioritize Hawkeye. Hawkeye is amazing.
I haven't seen him yet.
Moon
so.
Knight's better than Hawkeye.
Yeah, I gotta give you
To
that
be
one.
fair,
Flippity
I can't
flippers.
quantify that because I just watched episode 1 of Moon Knight, but I've
Oh,
heard it's
that's-
amazing.
It's
It
six
is, it
episodes.
is.
Yeah,
Six episodes.
it's all I will say about Moon Knight is episode 5, grab a box of tissues. You probably
Really?
need it.
That's what I keep hearing.
It's an emotional gut punch.
Thanks for
Episode 4 is a mind F.
Is it?
Yes.
Well,
Well, I
keep that in
love
mind as I go
Oscar
through the Marvel
Isaac,
Cinematic
so-
Universe on streaming services, and they should
There you
hear by me. But nice tangent there. So we're going back a
I
few
didn't
minutes
do
here,
it.
and I'll. No,
I
it's all right.
didn't
I
do
blame
it.
Dave for everything. So going back just a few scenes here, because I know we're right now here in the movie of Marvel's The Avengers. We're at the gym scene where Nick Fury is telling Steve Rogers about something we need your help with. We're trying to save it. You here with a mission, sir? Trying to get me back in the world? Trying to save it. Anyway. So the thing I was a bit curious about a few scenes ago, just to be clear, because I really liked 2008's The Incredible Hulk. Ed Norton, I thought he did a really good job. I have that film on Blu-ray Steelbook. What's up, son? So, and I like The Incredible Hulk as a character in general, so I am a fan, okay? So after that film came out and the behind-the-scenes issues went down, they're going to say, hey, we're recasting, we're going to put someone else in the role because Avengers is coming up and we got to fill some, we need someone to fill the slot. So I knew a bit about Mark Ruffalo. I did see some of his films prior to this, so I was already familiar with him as an actor, right? But I'm thinking to myself, okay, he could probably pull this off, but how are they gonna, make the transition from one act? I mean, I know, the character is bigger than the actor. Recasting happens all the time, but how is this gonna work for someone who hasn't seen the other films, or maybe wondering, hey, I saw this Hulk film a few years ago. Who's this guy? Why is he Bruce Banner? I don't understand this. But the introduction to this new iteration of Bruce Banner, this new iteration of the Incredible Hulk, I thought it was really well done. Natasha says, hey, we need your help with something. Hey, you need your help to bring in the big guy. He goes over and he says, what if I say no? What if the other guy doesn't say yes? So it's just the way they went about that and introducing this new character as this new actor as Bruce Banner, and weaving him into the storyline and how he fits into the overall, the bigger picture, which we're going to find out more about as we get towards another centerpiece of the film. I thought the introduction with Bruce Banner's character played by Mark Ruffalo was really well done.
So I'll say this. I loved, like Dave said, and you as well, I love Norton's Hulk. But
love that movie.
Hindsight being 2020 again, I think Mark Ruffalo has been the perfect cast for this because I don't see Norton playing a good brainy Hulk. I don't see Norton being a really good doctor, whereas as Mark Ruffalo plays Bruce Banner better than any other person I think could have played it. And this is where you get the Batman versus Bruce Wayne, who's the better actor. You have to put them all together. I really do think that hindsight being 2020, they made the right move of not going forward with Norton.
It was a good recasting too, because the camaraderie between him and the other characters, which we'll see a little bit later on in this film, what am I trying to say? It gels really well with the other actors, like the banter, the conversations that they have about, how are we going to handle this, or what is my obligation in all of this? You know what I mean? So it's really interesting how they play that off. So I guess in Ed Norton's case, he would be the one that's classified as volatile, self-obsessed, and don't play well with others.
Yeah.
So he would be the one to quote that in that trailer, but hypothetically, that never happened. So Dave goes on to say, I actually work for NASA and also did cybersecurity work for Homeland Security.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Dave,
okay.
you got some mad security clearance there, brother, which we will not bring up.
He's got the geek cred and the nerd cred. I get it, Dave. I get it. Okay.
By the way, Reed says, I also collect Funko Pops.
Ooh.
So there you go. We got another Funko Pop fan over here. So
I got a couple of them up here.
Yeah, we all got some in our collection. Kelly got them.
I do.
Kelly's looking behind her like, yo, here's my collection.
Yeah, well, this is a small. My Wonder Woman shelf is behind me because.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at that display, fellas.
I like it.
Looks good.
Wonder Woman and Superman. My Marvel collection, unfortunately, is downstairs. It just didn't work out for me to be downstairs.
Yeah. When I'm able to expand into a much bigger office, I plan on having a lot more stuff.
Trust me, I hope to get a bigger space one day so I can put up more of my collectibles, hypothetically. Dave says this was a long, boring conversation anyway. Improv is a blast, says Dave. He says improv may sound intimidating, but I actually find it relaxing.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
I'll say Detective Douche from Lucifer.
Thanks. By the way, Reed says I've done improv before. It's absolutely awesome. Good for you, Reed. At least some of us are comfortable with improv. Ryan, the quote over here is not very comfortable with it. It's too hard. Anyway, Dave says, you mentioned something known in hindsight, just as the camera pans into Steve Rogers. bottom while he punches the bag.
Captain America's ass.
I
Zing.
kind of did it. I mean, I made it right. Come on.
Without going into spoiler territory, Dave says Moon Knight is the bomb. So as a TV series, Emily says, Ryan, get on it. What are you doing with your life in terms of catching up on recent movies and shows? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm behind the eight ball.
Try doing a nerd podcast with Ryan and where he refuses to watch things.
Hey, it depends on the property. Anyway, Shang-Chi is awesome, according to Mr. Reed.
It
And then
is.
he
It's very good.
says Moon Knight is absolutely amazing. Okay.
I'm
It's a-
pretty
trust
sure
me, it's on
Ryan
the
is
list.
too busy making entertainment to sit down and watch TV.
I
Okay.
think that's my
fine.
biggest problem, Kelly.
Kelly,
That's my biggest problem.
Come on.
By the way,
Flowery
Dave
will
says, I
get you
also love
nowhere.
Ed Norton's version of the Hulk. You wouldn't like him when he's angry. Or hungry, excuse
Hungry.
me.
Yeah,
That's a
'cause
line
he-
in the movie,
he
yeah.
botches that line.
Okay, the part about Edward Norton's Hulk movie that I'm maddest about is what happened to Liv Tyler's
Stearns.
Betty.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
a beautiful woman and a talented actress and the daughter of rock and roll royalty.
Look, she might be beautiful, but I can't look at her and not see Steven Tyler.
Oh,
Oh,
he's a
that's
great
true.
singer, though.
Yes, but she is the female version of Steven Tyler.
Sorry, I can't. I'm sorry. As far as Liv Tyler's concerned, there are only two things I think of when I look at her: Armageddon, Lord of the Rings.
And I don't want to miss
It's a
that.
thing.
Yep.
And
I
then
used to
also the
get
crying
compared
video.
to Liv Tyler a lot, so
Holy
Really?
crap! I see it now.
You get compared to
Holy
Wait a minute,
crap!
hold on a
I
second.
didn't
Is
see
that
it.
true?
until- Yes,
Let's get a
So-
close up of this.
I have cosplayed as Arwen.
I
there you
can
go.
totally see it.
I can see it. Yeah.
Can
So
anyone
I'm a
else
little
see
mad-
Kelly as Liv Tyler? Can we see this?
So I'm a little mad that Liv Tyler was ousted from the Marvel universe, so I couldn't cosplay as.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's those pesky Universal rights because they still hold
Yep.
distribution on any
Yeah,
Hulk movie.
Which unfortunately is why we're not going to see The Incredible Hulk Part 2.
Mhm. Or any other
Also,
Hulk
The
movie.
Incredible Hulk Part 1 is not on Disney Plus.
It's
Nope.
not. Universal
Thankfully,
has
I've
the
got a
rights.
DVD copy though.
All right,
Whoa, what-
everybody. Here we go.
What is this?
Old fashioned.
What on earth is this? Oh, gee. Hold on a second.
Can we get a side by side here?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
wait.
what I'm trying to
Yeah.
see.
Hold on.
That's what I'm trying to see here.
Ryan, do you need me to send you my Arwen cosplay picture?
Sure, go ahead.
I could totally see it.
Can we
Yeah.
see this? Hold on a second. There it is. I think we could see it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Well, thank you.
There it is. There goes that screen.
Like I said, I got it more when I
Okay,
was younger, but
can I just
you
say,
all are
like,
very kind.
When it comes to interacting with specifically Captain America, Coulson is all of us. Like,
Oh,
that
hands
is
down.
exactly how we would
Right.
act
He's
in the presence
fanboying.
of someone like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Total
Hands down.
fanboy.
He's got taste in heroes. Captain America is.
Well, he did collect all of his trading cards.
Mhm.
Or did he?
Hey, Coulson did collect it. I think he did collect the trading cards. I don't think Nick Fury just did it to assemble the team.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Coulson collected the trading cards.
Yes.
It's just Fury.
So
Fury's the one who ruined
when-
them. When, he
when
played
we,
in
when
the-
we get to that point, we'll talk
Which is
about
later
a
in
theory.
the film.
We'll talk
Yes.
about a theory that I have.
Okay. All right. We'll get to it later, though.
So
Just to catch everyone up, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the 10th anniversary celebration of Marvel's The Avengers. We are watching the movie as well as sharing our thoughts and feelings and memories about the film. If you have any memories or thoughts or questions about whether it's the movie, whether you're familiar with the property before the movie came out with the comics and the characters and all that jazz, let us know in the comments and share this video with all 300 of your closest friends. They're going to like the way they look after watching this video with this fine group of people, I guarantee it. Just to catch you up, if you are just joining us and you want to get your copy ready, we are at the 30 minutes and 35-second mark here in Marvel's The Avengers of 2012. So feel free to queue it up on your streaming service or your Blu-ray player. I can't speak for everybody, but I am watching it on my DVD. So I have the DVD copy playing right now. That's just me. Not that there's anything against streaming service or anything, but hey, I'm a
How
fan
creepy
of
is that? I
something
just
known as
noticed
physical
this
media,
watching.
and it's right here, buddy boy.
it's on my
Sorry.
phone.
I just noticed this watching this, but I hadn't picked it up when I first watched the movie, and this is the first time. The guy who's standing there intimidating Loki, he's got two thumbs on the same hand.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Like literally, I hadn't noticed that.
your army. I will get the Tesseract. By the way, Tom Hiddleston is Loki. Such a great villain.
Oh,
Dude.
hands down.
up to
I
this
would-
point, he was Marvel's best. To a certain degree, he was Marvel's best villain up to this point.
Yeah, up to this point, yeah.
And then a little guy known as Thanos came along and blew everyone out of the water because he is inevitable.
I'd say Killmonger came along first and made a really compelling villain.
Right.
Killmonger was incredible.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, of the like big heavy hitter villains, like for me, it's Thanos at number 1 and Loki at number 2.
Speaking of Killmonger, if I can break and go on a tangent in just a second.
Not me. I didn't
Even
do
though
it.
you're fast forwarding 6 years.
I didn't do it.
Granted, but so here's the thing, and I know everybody's thinking about it because it's scheduled to come out later this year. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. What are they going to do since Chadwick Boseman's no longer around? A lot of people have been questioning who's going to take over. I had a weird thought come to my head. And again, a lot of people thought Shuri. A lot of people thought Okoye. A lot of people thought they would bring Killmonger back or give it to M'Baku. I had a slightly different idea. What if Shuri does take over the ruling duties, but gives the mantle of Black Panther to someone else and allows them to carry it out? And my thought was, why not W'Kabi?
Ooh.
T'Challa's best friend who throws in with Killmonger in the last movie. Make it a redemption arc for him.
I could
like
see
that.
that. Yeah.
Maybe.
Like,
I mean, crazier things have happened in life.
You really want to do what's right for Wakanda? You follow my rules. You take my orders. You act as the Black Panther in my stead.
Look at this. We're seeing this on screen again, and we're at the scene where they're on the helicarrier, and some of the heroes are getting a chance to meet each other for the very first time.
Yeah.
I mean, Widow introducing Captain America to Bruce Banner. I mean, that's just two versions of the super soldier serum. Like Steve Rogers was the first. Yep. Bruce Banner was the. It's seeing these different generations of characters and actors meet. I mean, they're on a helicarrier and they're like, I think just when you thought you'd seen everything.
But no, I love the lines from Banner here where he's like, when Steve asks if this is a submarine, and he goes, "Really? They want me in a small pressurized metal container?" Then he sees what it actually is. He goes, "I don't know. This is much worse."
I really like the I like the subtlety of putting Banner in a purple shirt. Like, wardrobe's on point,
Nice.
and then Widow's in a red, orange tank
Captain
top.
America's in his old school 1940s garb.
I was going to say here, the whole thing is casting.
So good.
They
in this
did
movie.
a perfect job of casting.
Look at this. Yeah. Walking into the helicarrier command center, seeing all this stuff for the first time. It's crazy.
And keep in mind, this is 2012. This is
10 years ago.
Yeah. Like all the technology that we have now, they did all this. Now it's not Star Wars technology where they did it with
different fandom.
Hey, hush your face.
Different fandom, buddy.
Yes. But I mean, 10 years ago, technology was a lot different than it is now.
Agreed.
And so what they did back then is amazing to me.
Yeah. I mean, look at all these sets. Look at this fancy equipment we're seeing on the helicarrier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now I will say I rewatched this afternoon when I was supposed to be working, and
hopefully your boss isn't watching.
Just don't tell your boss.
I work from home. I have my workstation over here, and I've got this here.
It's on the other side of my studio.
Exactly. I work in my studio. But anyway, so 2012 they had iPhones.
Yes.
But if you watch when they're calling each other, it's flip phones and old school phones. Like,
no, I love this moment here.
Yeah,
where
$10. $10 says you're wrong.
Here you go.
Here's your $10.
Doesn't even say anything. Just reaches in the wallet. There you go.
Reaches in that handy dandy wallet and says, "Hey, here's your $10."
Right.
Lannister always pays his debts.
Dr.
Now, was it 2012 $10 or was it 1940s $10?
Oh, that's right.
If he was paying by 1940 standards, there'd be some massive inflation there.
Yep.
Does anyone know what kind of bill he gave him? I don't remember.
I need to go. Let me read
it looked like a circa 2012 bill.
Yeah, I do. I think it was the big face.
Okay, then because this was after he was found out to be in a new time period, and then they gave him some new clothes. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh, they gave him a new ID and a new wallet. You're right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It was a big face Hamilton.
Oh, thank you for noticing in that scene.
Alexander
so good
Hamilton.
how they this is a purple shirt that he's wearing. It's such a big deal for the character. So where exactly is this thing? We're tracing it through so-and-so readings.
Yeah, you're right.
Did you imagine if Lin-Manuel Miranda directed a Marvel movie?
No. Look, I love LMM. I'm a huge Broadway geek. I love
He's a
all the
music
stuff
guy,
he does.
not an MCU guy.
But yeah, I cannot see a musical unless you give me Rogers the musical. I cannot see a musical
I
about
kind
the
of want
Avengers.
Rogers the musical though,
No.
Okay,
directed
how about
by
this?
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I could see that.
I was
If
like, how
Shout out
about
anyone's
Take My
listening
Money,
to this, feel
Disney.
free to pitch it to Hollywood.
How about this one, Dave? Make a Green Arrow movie at one point in the thing. Make him the Music Meister.
Yeah.
Deal.
Different
Done.
I would
properties,
watch
I
different
love it.
that.
studios.
I love it.
They already made Black
They made
Canary
Flash.
a singer
Well, they did.
in the
So
Birds of
what's
Prey
funny-
movie. But
yeah, they did
And
a
they did it in
musical
The Flash.
version of Flash.
that was
And-
such a good episode.
I was like, Darren
Well,
Criss.
because everybody in Flash, including Supergirl, were in Glee. And
Mhm.
so we know they can all sing. So why not bring that
So
into
good.
this?
Hashtag connected universes.
Mhm.
Look, you brought us all into this. You knew
I
this was
know.
going to go
I'm really
tangent
starting to
spinning.
regret bringing some of you on here, but it's okay. I'll.
Do you want me to leave, Ryan? I
No.
heard that from over here.
It's okay.
I know, Ryan. I know. I'm a terrible guest.
Listen. I'll be perfectly honest, and this is to give for those of you who joined us last night as we celebrate another Marvel property, the 20th anniversary of one of my favorite films, known as Spider-Man from 2002, respectively. We went off script probably 150 times last night, and I had 4 people in the room. It was 4 of us in the room. It was nuts. We had way too much fun. We were going off weird tangents, more so than Dave was. Or Dave is now. So
Well, you had Willow, right?
that is true. Willow was on last night. Phoenix
I don't
was
know
on the
what
show
you
last night.
expected.
Yeah,
Okay.
if Willow's on, you know it's worse than me on tangents.
Exactly. Willow was on. By the way, if you missed that episode, after you watch this, go back and watch our 20th anniversary celebration of
Yes.
2002 Spider-Man, another pivotal film in the comic book movie genre, respectively.
Yep.
So
And I'll say this: if you're really feeling nostalgic, whether for the year 2017 or the year 1993, you can go back and watch the last show I was on. And we watched 2017's Power Rangers.
exactly.
Ooh.
That was a lot of fun too, you know.
That was a
That
ton
movie
of
was
fun.
that movie was not good.
Hey,
I was just gonna
I
say
don't
that
care. I loved
movie
it. I loved it.
is unfortunately maligned. I think it's better than people give it credit for.
Look,
Finally, somebody speaks English.
Anytime you have a Pink Ranger and it's not Amy Jo Johnson,
Oh.
there's issues.
No
Oh,
one
she
can
was
live up
please.
to
It's
her.
a new
She was
cast
one-
in a new setting in a new set of universes. Come on.
Long
man.
live Amy Jo.
Hey, listen,
Long
I-
live
I-
Amy
Hey,
Jo.
they could have done worse than Naomi Scott for that.
Yeah.
I like Naomi Scott.
Listen.
Exactly.
That was a lot of fun. If you want to go back and watch that celebration, that was a lot of fun too. And yes, Sinister One James Shima was present on that episode. Hashtag always promote your stuff. Hashtag always promote your friends.
This will
So-
probably be my last episode, given how this has gone.
Yeah, seriously, he's taking us off too many rails, off too many
Hey,
trains,
hey.
and I'm looking at myself thinking, what on earth have I done to myself?
I'm still watching the movie.
Oh yes, we're still deep inside the movie. And by the way, Loki's scheme here, wearing this suit with the scarf there and smacking everybody around with a scepter that's shaped in the shape of a cane, pretty good stuff.
Yep.
And now we
Well,
see
we
Loki
have to
transforming into his
MJF was
actual
And now
self.
he's horny.
That
Oh,
is
Excuse me.
too easy.
That is a statement that will be stricken from the record. I want you to ignore what was just said in the last 5
I
seconds.
thought
of
this was a family
broadcast.
show, Ryan.
Yes, this is a family show for family-friendly audiences for the most part, and unfortunately, Kelly has broken one of our golden rules. So, yeah, Kelly, please don't do that again.
Okay.
Please don't. Please don't. I love
Okay.
you. You're my sister. You're a very good friend of mine. I care about you a lot. But please don't do that again.
I'll wear the dunce cap.
Yeah.
Please. Anyway,
Somebody's
Loki
a
has taken a
Slytherin
group
over
of
here.
people hostage, and he is demanding that everyone bow to him.
And now we're gonna see one of the biggest heroes of the Marvel universe.
We're going to see a bit of
Old
an
man.
introduction to certain characters working cohesively, or maybe not so cohesively as a unit.
Yep.
No, the biggest character. I think I see what Kelly was going here. I like this.
Yeah, the old man in
The old man is the
Oh, yeah.
first hero
Such
of this
a
movie
fantastic
because
scene.
he stands up knowing he has no power, and he stands up and puts this mofo in his place.
Such a good scene.
By the way, Dave says Kelly gets compared to Liv Tyler. I get compared to Gilbert Gottfried.
I love
fuck.
Gilbert Gottfried is a treasure, though.
I want a
Reed
cracker.
says- by the way, Reed says he's selling some of his Funko Pops if anyone's interested. So hit up Reed. What is it? Reed Eaton on YouTube. Hit him up if you want some Funko Pops, Kelly. Anyway, Dave says my favorite of the Marvel villains is actually Kilgrave.
Oh, yeah, I would say
Ooh.
for Jessica Jones, I could see that.
That's a
I
good
mean,
By the way,
Tennant.
Dave, I can't bring your comment up on screen because we haven't gotten to that part yet. So I'll
Yeah.
bring it up later. I promise.
Yeah,
By the way,
David-
Dave says Loki's statue looks less greasy than in real life.
That's a Thor Ragnarok reference.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But so talking about Kilgrave,
There are
anything-
always men like you.
yeah,
Great
anything
line.
that what's his name plays?
The
Dave
soldier.
yeah.
David Tennant.
David
Oh.
Tennant. Anything David Tennant plays, sign me up.
Hey, when he played the Purple Man on, what was it, Jessica Jones?
Jessica
That
Jones.
was freaking
That's
awesome.
yeah.
Great. Yep.
In my opinion.
I was like, made a great Scrooge
Whoa.
McDuck for the revival of DuckTales.
He really did.
But look at Captain and Loki going at it here. My goodness.
Here we go.
Trying to beat each other up in the streets. Whoop, whoop.
Here's the one thing too. Look at how little Chris Evans looks in this movie.
I know. He just kept getting huger.
Yeah.
And Kelly started falling in love more and more with this actor. Mhm.
Okay, so actually, here's my thing. I hate what the Marvel Studios does to their actors. So now it's to the point where that shirtless scene that has to be in every movie.
Get him, Tony.
My husband laughs because I always yell at the screen that they should just let them eat a cheeseburger instead.
They did with Thor.
I loved that.
Yeah.
I
Fat
loved
Thor
that he
out
got
of
to
it.
take a break because it is unhealthy at this point. Like they're dehydrating their actors. And so my husband, I'm such a mom, I know, but
Mr.
my
Stark?
husband laughs at me because every shirtless
Captain?
scene now I'm like, just let them eat a cheeseburger. I don't need any more shirtless scenes. Like, don't get me wrong. I like the pretty men.
Would
Marvel.
20-year-old Kelly have agreed with you?
No.
By the way, that was a cool intro with
Your Honor, the
Tony-
defense rests.
Exactly. That was a cool intro with Iron Man taking over the PA system and playing some AC/DC over the
Oh,
headset.
it was so
I
Tony.
love that. Yeah.
So
No,
Tony.
Shoot the
Shall
thrill,
Brand.
ran tail. You know.
So here's what I like about this. You know, the way that they progress Tony Stark in the MCU is
What's your thing,
total.
Pilates?
Yeah.
What?
What?
Calisthenics. You may miss a
Yeah.
couple things after being a capsule.
The way they capsicle.
That's
the
where
way-
we are in the movie, just to catch everybody up.
Yeah.
The way they progress Tony Stark in the MCU and Iron Man, it's very anti-comics because in the comics, Tony Stark is the goof off all the time.
Oh,
Like-
yeah. Always.
And I get why they did what they did. It's very movie timeline,
Mm.
Mhm.
but I still need that goofy Tony Stark the entire time.
Well,
I
he's
don't
goofy
like-
in this film.
Well, yeah, but I don't like that they modernized Tony Stark.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Seems like there's someone
Yeah.
on top of the plane that's disrupting this
There he
travel.
is.
Whoa! Who's this guy? Why?
Oh,
Iron Man gets thrown back.
yoink.
Oh, we're going for a ride here, Loki.
Yikes. Hand away.
Captain,
Right.
this is not your fight. These are about demons and gods. There's only one god, man, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress
Pretty
like
sure
that.
he
Right.
Which is
Great
so.
line.
It makes so much sense from his time period. It makes so much sense.
Mhm.
Hey, Stark, we need a plan. I do have a plan. Attack.
Attack. Yeah.
One of the best
So-
Loki lines came just a few seconds ago. What, are you afraid of lightning? No, I'm afraid of
I'm
what the
not
lightning
fond of
brings.
what follows.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of what follows. Takes a
No.
parachute, takes a shield. Hello, classic Captain America jumping out of a plane.
Yep.
All
Heck,
right.
in the next movie he's in, he doesn't even take a parachute when he jumps.
Hey,
So-
Cap, did he use a parachute? No,
No.
he didn't. And by the way, just so you know, this is my favorite solo
Nice.
MCU film. This one right here. Yeah, Winter Soldier.
Yeah. That's
Just
a good
saying.
one.
So good.
That is such a great film, in my opinion. Am I right, Kelly?
So it's
It's a
Defi-
very good-
if it's not my favorite, it's one of my favorites, but I'm pretty sure it's my favorite.
I'd
I
say
think
it's definitely
my
top
favorite
5
movie.
for me.
By the way, I want to hear from the audience too. Where would you rank 20? But by the way, we're going to make this a little bit more specific because there's 30,000 films in the MCU. And we don't have time to rank them all. So when it comes to Phase 1 of the MCU, not counting the movie we're watching tonight, because this is a celebration. Don't get me wrong, it's a celebration. It's great. But outside of the Avengers, because to me, my favorite movie of Phase 1 is this film. But in
Right.
Phase 1, outside of the Avengers, what was your favorite film leading up to 2012's Avengers? And I want to hear from the audience in the chat. I want to hear from you in the comments. Very curious to hear your thoughts. What is your favorite MCU film in Phase 1 that takes place before the events of 2012's The Avengers? Panel, anyone have a say?
So here you go. This is the one piece of homework I actually did
oh,
for
did
the
you?
show. I wrote down when they all came out.
Hold on a
and
second.
what
Let me
they
put that
are.
up on big screen. I got to be
You
curious.
had
Ooh.
Iron Man and Hulk both in 08. You had Iron Man 2 and 10, Thor and
Thor was
Captain
2011. Oh, Captain America was 2011.
Yeah, and then
Well,
Avengers
there you go.
was in
Yep.
2012.
I actually did my homework tonight.
Good for
Nice.
you. So, what is your favorite film that doesn't start and end with Marvel's The Avengers?
I'm going to be totally probably different from everybody. Iron Man 2.
Ooh.
That's
Really?
a hot take if I
I
ever
That's
heard.
a
love-
hot take if I've ever heard it.
I loved Iron Man 2. That's just I
Mm.
like that rogue feel to everything. And keep in mind, this is where we first meet Natasha. And I told y'all earlier, my favorite line from any of
I
the
want one.
MCU is "I want one."
No.
So, yeah, exactly. So it kind of flows with how I like my movie. I like my movie some drama and a lot of laughs. And Iron Man
Sure.
2 really is that. And I'm a Mickey Rourke stan.
Hey, Dave,
So-
if you can make gold bleed, he will die, or whatever. I don't know what he said. I don't
Yeah.
care what he says because that is my least favorite
I
film.
believe
of-
it's if you can make God
Phase one.
bleed, people will cease to believe in him.
Right,
Thank
exactly.
you. Hey, someone's been studying their movie trivia for upcoming matches. Good for you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that I'm alone with that. And I know a
Yeah,
lot
you're
of
in the
people say that-
minority there,
yeah,
pal.
I know a lot of people say they hate that movie. But
Trash.
Iron Man 3 is the
Love
worst.
this
of the
line.
Iron Man.
Sorry, that was one of my favorite lines.
You need to
Yeah.
listen to me, good brother. I'm listening.
I'm listening.
You know
No, I
what?
wasn't
I
talking
will
about that.
defend Iron Man 3 in that.
Mm.
Okay.
Even though you're stepping outside of the question.
Okay, I'm stepping outside of the question, but I have to defend Iron Man.
Followers.
I have to defend Iron Man 3 a little because you dragged it through the mud. It's
I
not
did.
a great movie, but the way
than Iron
they
Man 2.
realistically showed Tony going through PTSD
Yeah,
was
True, in the
really
first
That
30
was
minutes.
the most
well
relatable part of the
done.
movie, in my opinion.
it
That was
was.
the best 30 minutes of the movie.
That was incredible that this is a superhero movie that's dealing with a psychological
Issue.
issue that lots of people deal with, and it's dealing with it in a way that you don't see and treated with so much
How about that?
Yeah, what I appreciate in that is mental health now is a very big topic to talk
Yeah.
about.
And it should be.
but it
Right,
wasn't
it
then.
should. But when Iron Man 3 came out, I that's not in phase 1, so I didn't.
Yeah, I
do my
know. So
homework
we're
here.
going off script
Yeah.
again.
But
But
when
you
Iron
know.
Man 3 came out, that was not a topic to be talked about.
Mm-mm.
It was rub some dirt on it and move on.
So that-
Still.
Yeah, just like my
And
good
it's
friend George
coming
Costanza
from-
once said, of course
Right.
not. Wash it, dry it, move on.
And it's coming from one of the more macho characters
Yeah.
in
Big-
the MCU.
He's a big name character.
It was a big deal. Okay, so going back to the question.
The
though,
question,
No, you gotta stay on the tangent longer. That's how we do
No.
things, Kelly. Come on.
Kelly's a follower, not a rule breaker. No, wait, she is a rule breaker. But anyway,
I am
Kelly,
a rule breaker.
Kelly, what's your favorite film in the MCU of Phase 1 that doesn't come and then it doesn't start
Talk
and end
about
with
phase
Marvel's The
4.
Avengers?
Talk about phase 4. Come on.
Oh, we'll get there.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
Captain America, hands down.
First Avenger, okay.
First
Okay.
Avenger.
I thought that one was a little lackluster.
Yeah.
That's fair.
After going
Some
back
people
and
felt that way, but
I went back and
Um,
rewatched First Avenger some time ago, and I gotta say, I'm like, it's not. I mean, I didn't like it. I mean, I liked it in the theater, but when I rewatched it, I was like,
yeah, exactly.
not as good as other films.
Yeah.
It
doesn't
doesn't
hold
it
up.
doesn't age well.
It's a
doesn't
serviceable
hold up
origin
to-
story, but you
Yeah.
know,
Okay, but Captain America is like one of my top 3 favorites, and they really did a good job of his origin. And I'm also a sucker
all
for
time?
period films.
And this
Yeah.
is probably when Kelly was single and hadn't met her
hold on a
husband yet.
second.
And we saw
No.
shirtless Chris Evans.
Oh, hold on, wait a minute.
Actually,
Oh, yeah,
I got
and then
married in
he asked the question,
2007,
and then
so
she asked
no.
the
Okay.
question, "How do you feel?" Taller.
Yeah.
Anyway, and Kelly was
No,
like,
fun
I want
fact.
to touch that. Kelly's like, I want to touch this. Can I touch
And
this,
then
please?
Kelly said, I want one.
Kelly was
fun
like,
fact,
did.
though,
who am I married to again? Oh wait, I'm married to Chris Evans now. Hello.
I looked at my husband and I was like, I want one. I mean, to be fair, Tony and Pepper were almost an item, and he looked at Pepper, and Pepper was
Yeah.
Kelly,
like,
how do you feel about Captain America's six pack? Taller. Anyway, so Captain
Anyway.
America's your favorite. Shima, what's your favorite of Phase 1?
favorite of Phase 1.
Phase 1, yeah.
Just for the fact that knowing what I know about it now and that the script wasn't even like half finished and they still shot the movie anyway, I gotta go with the first Iron Man. Just because, again, working with only half of a script and having to improvise a good 50% of what you're putting out there, and it's still coming together in such a way, especially with Jon Favreau at the helm.
I
So
didn't
here's-
actually know that the script was only half finished.
Yeah, I
when they
didn't either.
started
Yeah,
shooting.
I didn't
That's
know that either.
incredible.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Here's where we knew Favreau and all of them had a vision, because at the time in 2008, Robert Downey Jr. was an outcast in Hollywood.
Yep.
And they saw what he could become.
He had to redeem himself.
And he redeemed himself with this.
Big time.
Now I can't see Robert Downey Jr. as anything but Iron Man or Sherlock.
Yep.
And Boot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
we're at
And
the
the
scene.
studio fought him on casting Robert
They
Downey
did.
Jr.
They absolutely did.
They
'Cause
fought
he was
with him.
box
They wanted
office
him in
crazy.
that role so badly because they knew he would fit the bill.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr.
And look what happens. I
Yeah.
mean, you know,
No,
as
circa
they say in
2008.
professionalism, the rest is history.
Yep.
Circa 2008, Robert Downey Jr. was then what Ezra Miller is becoming now.
Oh,
Different studio,
Oh.
different property.
if
But I
we
understand
have
where you're
a
coming
from.
Flash movie, it's going to surprise me, unfortunately, because I was super excited about seeing Michael Keaton in the
Me
Black Cow
too.
again.
They were
Yeah.
they revealed the suit, man. I hated that they did. I mean, I knew we knew we were going to get it, but it's like, why'd you have to reveal that?
You knew it was going to happen. So
I
we're
wanted
going
to see it in the movie, not in the press release.
so we're going to get screwed and see, and probably not get to see the Flash movie, which I admit Ezra Miller has done some bad stuff. He probably doesn't need to have the glory of being in this movie.
Just have Michael Keaton as being top
Right.
billing.
But unfortunately, we're still going to see Amber Heard in Aquaman 2.
Yeah,
Still
but
gonna-
they
listen.
cut her time down to 10 minutes.
Okay, I
Oh,
don't
really?
care. She needs look. If Disney can tell Johnny Depp to get out when that was just hearsay, Discovery, you
That's
have
not
bought
fair.
WB. Please get Amber Heard out of Aquaman.
Agreed.
I'm still looking, different studio, different property, but I'm still looking forward to seeing Aquaman Part 2.
Me too.
I am
So-
too.
The only
No
reason I
offense,
go to see
listen,
that
I'm
movie
not
is
trying to
Jason Momoa.
sugarcoat the behind-the-scenes
Agreed.
drama, but I'm still looking forward to seeing Aquaman 2 as well as the Flash film because we're going to get to see Michael Keaton 30-plus years later in a bat suit that I never thought would ever happen. None of us thought would happen.
Yeah,
so
no.
If,
I'm
and
looking
And
forward
it
to seeing you,
sucks
Michael. We love you, man.
because I like Mira the character.
Yeah,
Like,
the
just don't like-
character
you
across
just don't like
comics.
this-
great.
You just
It's
don't like the current situation that's going on behind closed. I mean, nobody does, but
if you
No.
actually, if you want some comedy, watch the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial.
Oh, it's
that's, by
hilarious.
the way, for those of you who may be wondering what the frack we're talking about, there's a trial going on between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and you can stream it 24/7 on YouTube. But we're not here to discuss that.
Yeah,
The
and
lawyers
she is
are.
getting her backside handed. to her.
Yes.
Listen, different story, different.
Are we going to
channel,
poop
but-
in bed?
Hey, come on now. At least you used the
That man
professional
is
term,
playing
not the
Galag.
NC-17 term.
Galaga. He thought we wouldn't notice, but we
Yeah.
did.
Oh, by the way,
There we
Dave.
go.
Hard
She brought
feelings,
it
Point
back.
Break. You got a mean swing.
By the way, Dave. No hard feelings. Point Break. Got a mean swing. By the way, how does Fury look at these things? He turns. Sounds
Oh.
exhausting. That man is playing Galaga.
I wouldn't notice. but we
Probably
did.
wouldn't notice, but
But we
what
did.
I think is
Yeah, Here it is.
well,
Yeah.
first of all, did you guys catch Tony planting the bug?
yes.
Yeah.
All of you
I did.
watching at home.
Yep.
Yep.
Also,
yep.
speaking of Fury, what I think is really interesting is the fact that when Nick Fury was redesigned for the Marvel Ultimates universe in the comics, they patterned him after Samuel L. Jackson without asking permission.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Samuel L. Jackson obviously caught on and threatened to sue them, but he dropped the lawsuit under the agreement that if they ever had a movie with Nick Fury in it, that they would cast him.
Dodge that bullet.
Interesting stories.
And-
I'm sorry, I'm missing a few of these things here, but let's see here. Dave Mattingly says, we ended up disagreeing from earlier on in the film, another line that Captain America says. There's one God man who doesn't dress like that. He says his favorite Marvel film outside of the MCU Phase 1 is Shang-Chi, and he also says my favorite Phase 1 film, to answer the flipping question,
Hey, we all answered it.
I didn't, is The Incredible Hulk. Wow.
Okay.
We got some love for
I was
the
like,
Ed
went
Norton
full,
Hulk,
went
finally.
full Owen Wilson on that one, didn't you?
Wow. Anyway.
Ryan,
I-
yeah, you didn't answer.
I didn't. I'll get to that in a minute. I agree that Mickey Rourke is fantastic. I loved him in Angel Heart. What the frack is Angel Heart? I never even heard of that.
If you haven't seen Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler, you're missing.
Oh,
out.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Don't
It's
ruin it.
The
Great era.
best Mickey Rourke acting of all
I've only
time.
seen bits and pieces of it, Dave. I haven't seen it yet, so don't ruin it.
Dude, like that
Anyway.
that movie literally could have been about the life of Jake the Snake Roberts.
Agreed.
Kelly, Iron Man 3 is my favorite of the Iron Man trilogy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow. RDJ was wonderful in the film known as Chaplin, as well as Heat and Souls. I don't believe I've heard of Heat and Souls, but Chaplin I do know of. I just haven't seen it yet.
So we were talking about Nick Fury earlier.
Oh yes, character. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's some Nick Fury trivia.
Before Ryan answers the question, yes.
Do you know where Nick Fury is from?
Is he from Alabama?
He talks about this in Captain Marvel. He is from the great city known as Huntsville, Alabama.
Hey.
Yeah. And so here's another cool flashback.
Is everything a joke to you?
What? Oh,
funny things are.
Funny things are. Yeah. So here's a cool flashback to a lot of Samuel L. Jackson's characters.
Sorry.
When they bury Nick Fury, do you know what it says on his grave? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Says,
Ezekiel 25:17, the path of the righteous man is beset by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Anyway, that's a movie for another property.
Yeah.
But to answer everyone's question,
what do they call it? What do they call
it? MCU film in Phase 1, not counting Avengers, because Avengers is great. You know, I think I'm going to pull a Dave Mattingly on this one and go with the minority. I'm going to say Incredible Hulk. I really like Iron Man, but when Incredible Hulk came out and reintroduced us to this character as Bruce Banner, because the 2000 Liang Lee Hulk is a bit of a mess. Great casting, but a bit of a mess.
Except for the Abomination.
Oh, yeah.
So,
pop quiz for you guys who are paying attention. What's Tony got in that little baggie there?
Oh, those are something or other. But anyway, I'll get to that in a second. So, Incredible Hulk is my favorite Phase 1 film, just because I liked how they reintroduced us to the Hulk, and we saw a different cast acting with these, and I thought the characters were well cast. Ed Norton was really good as Bruce Banner in the Hulk, and Liv freaking Tyler. I haven't seen you before this. I hadn't seen you since a little series called Lord of the Rings, where you gave someone your immortality necklace and said, "This is what true love is," on a bridge scene in Fellowship of the Ring. And then all of a sudden you just disappeared and I never saw you again. And then 5 years later you show up in the Incredible Hulk. I'm like, oh, this is freaking gorgeous. Wonderful. Give this woman more lines, boy. And then, unfortunately, the situation broke down with Ed Norton behind closed doors, and they had to recast Bruce Banner with Mark Ruffalo, who is great. I'm not going to say he's bad. He's great.
I love this line coming up.
And then we never saw Betty Ross again, which is so sad.
Of the people in this room, which one is A, wearing a Spangly outfit, and B, not of use?
Anyway, to catch everybody up, we are trying to watch anyway.
We're watching it.
We're not really. Some of us aren't even watching it. I am, though. But I'm sorry. We're watching Marvel's The Avengers for the 10th anniversary. Welcome to this special presentation brought to you by Nerd Culture and hosted by yours truly. My name is Ryan. Thanks for being with us. We're in the, let's see here, 59 minutes, 10-second mark around here at the Avengers. So if you're just joining us, you want to queue up your copy on your streaming service or your physical media player, feel free to do so and share any and all your thoughts about the Avengers, whether it's the movie property of the Avengers or the comic book property. The Avengers. Who are your favorite characters? What are some of your favorite storylines featuring certain characters? What do you think is the best team up you've ever seen in a Marvel comic? What is your favorite, Avengers storyline that takes place? So let us know any and all your thoughts in the comment section in the live chat below. We're going to be some of us are trying to monitor it anyway.
I'm watching it.
I'm not doing a very good job of it though. As we go throughout the course of the show. And also, make sure you're sharing this with all 500 of your fellow friends, because they're going to like the way they look after watching this video. I guarantee it. Anyway, we are joined by Dave Adams, the sinister one known as James Shimo, and Kelly Gettner, one half, I should say, of Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. # always promote your friends. So that was a lot. Thanks for being with us. And now I'm going to focus on the movie and not be distracted by Dave's horrible tangents.
I haven't had one in the last 15 minutes. Oh, Kelly's got one.
I do. Ryan, will you show off my Arwen picture since we brought up Liv Tyler again?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Hold on. I closed that tab because I didn't want to be distracted by the messages that may be incoming to my screen. But I will bring this up momentarily. Hold, please, as they say in business. By the way, Dave just texted me here privately. He sent me the trailer for Angel Heart, and he also sent me something for Heart and Soul's trailer. Okay, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it, buddy. I'll get to it another time because I can't do it right now. I'm kind of busy. All right, 1 second here, folks. I'm doing multiple things.
Parkour. See, I'm watching the movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
good
there
for
you
you.
go.
At least one of us is.
I've got it on my phone,
I've got it running.
Okay.
and
All
I've
right.
got AEW
And
on
Dave
the TV.
also correctly answered what was
Nice. I wish I
in
was watching. I wish I had
Tony's
Dynamite running, but I
bag.
don't have a second TV.
It was
He's answering what
blueberries.
question? I'm sorry.
What
Blueberries.
was in Tony's bag was blueberries.
Yep.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I don't know if this is true.
Heart and Soul, starring Robert Downey Jr.
But-
Blueberries, and then Emily Kennedy says Iron Man is my favorite film from Phase 1. Okay, Emily, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Iron Man 2008.
No love for Thor.
I like
I'm gonna
that
take
film.
a brief commercial break, if you will. I'll be right back.
Sure, buddy. Anywho, as some of us are taking a break and some of us are actually working, let's see here. Hold on a second. I'm doing many things at once. This is taking time, Kelly. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's
We don't
fine.
see
You're
Liv Tyler on the
focused.
screen. Yes, we do.
Hey, I'm getting to it, man. Gosh almighty. By the way, Loki is of Asgard, but he is my brother. He's killed 84 people in 2 days. He's adopted.
He's adopted.
I love that line.
By the way,
I
you've really changed things around here. Oh, really? How so? And he's like, other worlds, crazy arts, crazy monsters. Anyway, we do have something that came to us through the private messages here. Now, we were talking earlier about how Kelly Gentner has been mistaken for Liv Tyler, the actress from Hollywood. And we were presented with some not facts, these are photos. So here is Kelly Gentner. You are dressed as which character? Arwen?
Arwen
Where's the
Okay.
ears? Where's the elven ears?
Yeah, where are the ears? We don't see them.
hiding under my hair.
Mm.
That was
So
a lot
did-
of hair.
Does anyone else feel that Kelly Gentner could be mistaken as Liv Tyler / Arwen here? Let us know in the comment section. Let us know in the chat, because I'm going to keep this thing up here for just a moment. I'm curious. This is a nice photo, by the way, Kelly. Thank you for sending this in to
you.
us. And
It was
congratulations on dressing
taken-
up as a character that was portrayed by the very beautiful, the very talented Liv Tyler.
The very Steven Tyler looking.
Hey.
That photo was taken by my friend Kelsey, aka Art Sortment. Gotta give a shout out to Kelsey.
What is it exactly you want me to do?
So-
I want you to do what are you prepared to do? That is what
Loki
Nick
is a
Fury is
prisoner.
questioning Thor about right now.
hmm I will say, so speaking about the first Thor movie,
Yes, which I
It
do
was-
like.
I do like it too. But at first, it was never my favorite in phase one. And I actually kind of thought Thor was the more boring Avenger. And
I kind of agree.
Mhm.
But then he's been through one of the more interesting character arcs. So now
Yeah.
I am talking about phase 4.
Yeah.
Moving forward, instead of staying in the phase 1 era,
I am, but I am tying it back into phase 1.
no, it's all good. It's
So
all
you'll
good.
you'll forgive me.
Not
but,
getting into too many things that are about to happen in the MCU, but
I won't give spoilers, but if you watch
Do
his
it.
whole arc and
Do
then just watching his whole arc and
Do it.
going back and rewatching the first Avengers movie
Mhm.
and of course the first Thor movie, you really appreciate them in a new light because this is a character that's come so far from kind of the himbo he was, who didn't really care as much, and he has lost so much and just has this full character where he's become this fully realized, well-rounded character. I'm not saying too much because I don't want to spoil anyone, but
no, it's okay. It's okay. I was not aware of this.
he's
Oh,
now
yeah,
my
sorry, go ahead.
favorite. Oh, I was gonna say, I think he might be my favorite Avenger now.
Oh, Thor is?
I think so. Like, I mean, let's be real. Natasha's my favorite, but Thor is
And
my.
Hence the reason you're sort of kind of dressed up as Natasha, or you're not. I can't tell.
No, I'm wearing a Thor t-shirt. I couldn't
Mhm.
find.
Couldn't put on your cosplay tonight, huh?
No, it was a long day.
Yeah. Plus, you had to take
I
care of
get
the
it.
Munchkins in the backstage area, so that's okay.
I did.
Speaking of which, how are the little Munchkins? How are they?
They're good. They're good. They're running me ragged, but
How old are your munchkins, Kelly?
And Dave says, I agree.
Yes.
they are 12 and 10.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
I've
And
got.
we had horseback riding right before this.
oh my gosh.
Oh.
So
Oh.
Are they
it's been a
learning to
long
be the
day.
next Indiana Jones? Are they practicing their horseback riding skills?
They're really good.
I've
They're
got.
really good at it.
I've
really,
got
really
7
good.
and 4.
Have you taken photos of
7
the?
and
Have you taken photos of the kids at these lessons?
Yeah, I'll send them to
You're
you.
gonna have to send me some in the backstage area, but still, I digress. Oh, look at your Munchkins, Dave.
There's my 2.
Oh,
Here we go. These are Dave's Munchkins. So why don't you let us know, who are these two wonderful looking people?
So this one here is Ellie. She is my 7-year-old. She'll turn 8 in July.
Mm.
And this one is Harper.
Oh.
She is the biggest bundle of energy you will ever see. And she is 4.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I think my 12-year-old could give her a run for her money. Maybe they could meet and play.
Oh dear Lord, Kelly.
Can we get a play date together for Dave's children and Kelly's children?
They could wear each other out.
Please, I would be so for that.
That's a lovely picture of your Munchkins, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Is
And
that
that was
Disney
taken, I
World or
believe, at Disney World?
Disneyland?
That's World. That's World.
That's Disney
Aw,
World.
That was
looks
our
so much
last
fun.
trip in March. So
Those are nice looking kids. By the way, congratulations to you, Dave. That's a wonderful. Oh, by the way, speaking of young ones and future generations of comic book readers and fans, did you know that this weekend, Saturday, May the 7th, is classified as Free Comic Book
Free
Day?
Comic Book Day. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, Dave, do you have plans to take him out to a shop?
I do. I actually just found out that a friend of mine from high school's brother owns a comic book shop not more than a mile and a half away from me.
Get out of town.
Amazing.
So if you are in the Madison Huntsville area,
More specifically, yeah.
the Haven on Slaughter Road,
Ooh.
that is the comic book shop to go to.
Hmm.
What state is that?
Huntsville,
Alabama.
Alabama,
It's in
Okay.
Alabama.
the home of the best college football ever.
Kelly's
had to
thinking,
ask
don't say anything,
because-
Don't say anything.
I work in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
So you saying
She-
Madison? I'm like, I know that's not my Madison, but
I was going to say, Kelly, do you hear this accent? I mean, that's
It's
not a
definitely
Madison, Wisconsin accent.
it is not
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
What is it?
Don't you know?
Wisconsin. Something.
And now I can eat some brats all day.
Cheese curds too.
Cheese curd. Oh, I love me some cheese curds. I actually
Oh
spent
my
some time
goodness.
up in
Really?
Madison a couple summers ago, just touring it, and I ate my weight in cheese curds.
Oh my.
Did you get the chance to stop at our castle that's filled with cheese and wine on the border on your way out?
No, I did not.
We have a castle filled with cheese and wine
Oh wow.
on the border. It is heaven.
Do you?
It's my favorite tourist trap. It's
You have
amazing.
a castle?
I do believe I need to go there next time.
Hey, Dave, we need to get the group together somewhere in the middle and just meet up and hang out with each other's families and kids. That'd be a nice
Let's do it.
date.
Let's do it.
Hey, how about we all go to a comic shop together?
Or
Yeah,
how
that.
about we go
I'm down.
to a Wisconsin football game? Because I've been to Camp Randall Stadium. It's a
have you
beautiful
now?
football stadium. Yes.
Mm.
It
So
is pretty nice.
we
So
can
that-
go
so
up.
we know
can
what
go do some
Da-
Wisconsin.
Don't get me started on other states in this country. Anyway, Dave, so we know that Dave has taken his family to that place in Alabama. Kelly, do you have plans to take your Munchkins to a comic book store on Free Comic Book Day Saturday?
No, I'm ditching them and going myself.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, sometimes a parent has to do what you got to do.
Who needs
I'm gonna
children when I got myself?
I'm gonna be going in costume for a few hours, and my kids just could not.
They can't handle the
They complaining
madness.
the whole time.
They couldn't
can't,
handle the
so-
multiverse of a comic book store's madness.
Yeah, so they're
Okay.
staying behind with
Speaking
my
of,
husband because I'm a really
So
good
it's too
mom.
overwhelming. I get it.
Somebody who I know who lives in on the other side of the planet where
Yep.
time is ahead of us and it's actually tomorrow has seen Multiverse of Madness already, but
Mhm.
he put out this little picture and I think
No
it's awesome.
spoilers. No spoilers.
Spoilers, and all it says
Spoilers,
is
sweetie.
I would say I know you probably can't read it, but this
It
one up here
says no
says,
spoilers.
this up here says, and then I'm not talking up here. It says this is Doctor Strange. He saw the ending of Endgame, 14 million. Didn't spoil anything. Be Doctor Strange.
I
Yes.
love it.
That's a valid point leading into the next phase of the MCU, even though we're talking
Yep.
about Phase 1 tonight, but still I digress. By the way, you think you can take me on? Put on the suit.
Oh,
Put on the
this is great.
suit.
Yeah,
Do
Put on
it.
the
Do it,
suit.
Stark. Put on the suit.
always a
Put
way.
on the suit. Let's go a few rounds, Kelly. Come on. Let's go a few rounds. Put on the suit.
Wait.
Do it.
Let's give a plug to Kelly and her comment.
I love this line. You're a laboratory experiment, Rogers.
Yeah.
Everything special about you
You
came
come out of a bottle.
So
I'm
You
telling
gotta
you, the
wonder.
hemming and hawing between these characters
Oh,
is
it's
really
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
it is
You gotta
awesome.
wonder, like, especially looking back on it, was that really how Tony felt, or was he just jealous because his dad never shut up about Cap and never gushed about him?
I do think it's jealousy because
I think it is, Dave.
yeah, because the entire time Tony
got
knew that
daddy
his dad made the son that he could never be.
Mm,
And then I think we see that
Heartbreaking.
more in
Yeah.
Winter Soldier.
which
And
Yeah.
then more in
That
Civil
happens.
War.
And tiny.
you people are so petty and tiny.
So
Anyway, to
tiny.
catch everyone up who's probably wondering, Ryan, are you still watching the movie, or are you just yapping about
monologue
random
coming up.
stuff? But yeah.
You can't. I know. I tried.
Right. An hour. We're about an hour, 11 minutes, and 35 seconds into this film. We are at the part where the Avengers are having a very violent disagreement with who's more important on this squad than the next.
Me.
Well, yeah, and Dave is just starting trouble like he always does. So,
I'll do the Blake Shelton over here.
Blake, wait a minute. It's not Blake Shelton. Who's the other? Who's the one
It's-
who sings the?
Blake Shelton does the voice that when he wants them to choose him.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
No, you're thinking. I think you're thinking of Travis Tritt, little Trouble.
Yeah.
maybe
I
the
smell
other-
TROUBLE.
I was thinking of the other one. As I step away real quick, James Shimo, the question that was on the table while you were taking a commercial break, as Ryan's about to take one, Free Comic Book Day is going to be on Saturday, May 7th, 2022. Do you have any plans for Saturday, May 7th, Free Comic Book Day? And if so, what would they be?
As of right now, I don't have any huge plans, but when it comes down to it, my weekends are usually pretty free, so I may find an opportunity to swing into one of my local comic shops and see what's available. So,
Awesome.
like I said, as of right now, nothing definitive. I may end up seeing Doctor Strange a second time at that point and maybe swinging in after the fact. I don't know yet. I'm gonna kind of go with the flow guy when it comes to weekends. So see what wind takes me.
With Ryan gone, we can go on tangents now.
I love it.
We are talking. You brought up Doctor Strange. What do you hope to see from the end movie trailer scene in that extra scene? What do you hope that they tease in that after credit scene?
Post credit. I'll tell you what. There's a handful of things that I would like to see. What do I think we're likely to see? I don't know. But if it's just me talking about desire, I think it'd be cool to see Jonathan Majors in full Kang regalia, like to kind of tease Quantum Mania. I think would be.
But
cool.
is it too early? Keep in mind, it
You're
took
right.
10
But
years.
again, look at what we're dealing with here. How early did they tease Thanos?
That's true.
They
Very
didn't
true.
pull on that thread legitimately until what 2018.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
So
But here's
there's
the
a
question:
possibility there.
Is Kang going to be the Ultron, or is he going to be the Thanos? Because I
hope
fully
he's
think,
the Thanos.
I fully think Phase 4 is Mephisto.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Ooh.
We'll see. I'll tell you this much though. If I'm, and again, this is because I watch the John Campea show. I follow Robert Meyer Burnett and a whole bunch of the other people from there.
Sure. Yeah, as do I there, James.
Yeah, one thing that he brought up, because they were doing their whole speculation about what kind of cameos and everything that they'd see, and they brought up the animated series X-Men from the 90s, and Robert said, "Oh yeah, we're going to see them because that's where Wanda put them."
Ooh.
He theorizes that the 90s X-Men cartoon potentially is what we could have gotten from the X-Men in the MCU, but because Wanda already did her No More Mutants deal, that they just got popped into an alternate dimension that just happened to be
Okay.
animated.
Well,
I'm like, you know
it.
what, Robert? I don't know that that's actually going to happen, but I dig the theory.
there's a lot of interesting. There's going to be a billion theories
Oh yeah,
about the MCU moving forward for sure, including some of the newer stuff that's coming out, whether it's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Black Panther Part 2,
Yep.
as well as a few other films that are coming. What's the other one? Thor: Love and Thunder's another
Thor:
one
Love
coming
and
out. So
Thunder.
you got that. I mean, there's a million different things to be jacked up about within the MCU. Granted, it's going to take me probably 5 years just to catch up on everything, but
Ryan's back. We have to get back on the track.
yeah, thank you. You're welcome. No, I'm kidding.
I took
So-
over the show while you were gone, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, Dave. I can always count on my Geek at Birth co-host, also known as Dave Adams, the Golden Voice of the South, to cause even more chaos than I'm originally used to.
Always. Always.
So yeah, my plan for Free Comic Book Day, tentatively, 'cause right now it's not a 100% done deal, is to take my lovely niece and nephew over to the shop, get them some free swag, maybe get them a graphic novel or two if they feel so inclined. And keep shepherding in the new generation of comic fans because they're already into comics, they're already reading stuff because I've given them past
That's
gifts.
awesome.
Have included DC superhero girls and Star Wars comics and Marvel all kinds of stuff. So hopefully they can join me on Free Comic Day Saturday. Otherwise, going by myself is going to be depressing. I want to go with my peeps. I want to go with friends. I want to go with my family. But unfortunately, I don't think my friends can make it because apparently my friends have a job.
Yeah, this is great.
But which one? The very large panel. Anyway, as Captain's trying to explain things, like Iron Man is trying to explain things to Cap.
It's run on some form of electricity.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. But so yeah, that's my plan is to take my niece and my nephew who are 9 and 12. 9 and 12. So we'll see if the Munchkins can jump into this incredible extravaganza known as Free Comic Day. And by the way, if you don't know where your comic book shop is in your area, go to freecomicbookday.com. Yes. Type in your zip code, type in your location specifically, and that website will help you find a comic store near you. # support your local comic shops.
Speaking of that, I should say I'm going to be at Jay's Comics in Grays Lake, Illinois.
Hey!
Just in case anyone's going to be in Illinois, in the northern Illinois area and wants to stop by and say hi, there's going to be a group of us. So if you want to see some superheroes.
Who are you dressing up as?
Black Widow.
There you go. Perfect.
What I miss?
You didn't miss anything. Anyway, you missed a great movie. No, I'm kidding.
Thank
so in this scene, we get to see Mark Ruffalo transform into the new iteration of the Hulk. And let me tell you something. This is a heck of a debut, especially when he has to go up against Thor, and Thor's trying to calm him down, not destroy him. We are not your enemies, Banner. Try to think.
Too bad they don't have a lullaby yet.
Yeah, I would say they hadn't worked that little detail out yet.
Natasha was trying though, and I love that she was brave enough to like wave people off and try to talk them down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the very beginning of this sequence, yes.
Natasha always brings the human element into the superheroes, and I love that.
Well, she does have red in her ledger, as I didn't get a chance to comment on this earlier, but her seducing Loki into telling her what his master plan is, like I have red in my ledger, I gotta do X, Y, Z. It's like, you will be nothing, and da-da-da-da-da. Like, so good. Her Jedi mind tricks on Loki were very well done.
Yep.
Sorry, wrong property.
I love this.
Wait a minute. Hulk just tossed Thor through a bunch of suitcases like it was a sack of potatoes. What is Thor calling for? He's got his arm reaching out. What's he reaching for?
Yeah, it's there forever. I love that.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
For it.
Smack to the face.
Hadouken!
Hey, I understood that reference.
Hadouken!
Sonic boom!
Wait.
I think someone's been playing one too many iterations of Street Fighter.
I love hearing how
this is ridiculous that the Hulk can't pick up Thor's hammer because he's unworthy.
Again, I know I'm kind of deviating from the topic, but again, one of my favorite moments in the MCU as a whole.
Do it.
When Vision first picks up Mjolnir and just hands it to Thor, and it's like, I know there's probably no way to make you trust me, but we need to go now. And he just hands it to him, and everybody's just standing there like, what the heck?
Yeah, I had a WTF moment on my face too there, buddy.
I knew it was going to happen.
I didn't think that was going to happen, period, because he's not human. He's a machine.
Right.
But elevator's not worthy.
Yep. There we go.
I guess, Kelly. I don't know what you're trying to tell me there, but okay.
That was the conversation they had about the elevator going up with the hammer.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Elevator's not worthy.
What was I saying before? Oh, yeah. Dave chimes in. He says, I'm still amazed that Eric Selvig is also Bootstrap Bill Turner.
Yep.
And Pirates of the... I did not know that, by the way. In Pirates of the Caribbean and Baron... What is this? Harkonnen in Dune?
I'm sure that's a movie you've not seen yet.
Is this the new Dune or the original Dune?
The new Dune.
All right, I haven't seen that one. Yeah. I haven't seen either one, so don't ruin it for me.
Either.
Me either. So I'm behind on my Dune.
By the way, Dave Mattingly says Natasha outsmarts a god earlier on in the film, and then Dave says, Kelly, my favorite Avenger is actually Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's amazing.
I'm gonna say he doesn't get a ton of credit.
I like Hawkeye, Hawkeye is the Batman and the Green Arrow of the MCU. He has no real skills.
I'm a man with a bow and arrow.
Marksman.
Yeah. And we're fighting what does he say?
Fighting a bunch of robots. The city is
fighting a group of robots. This doesn't make any sense, Kelly. This doesn't make any sense.
I will say that I prefer comics Hawkeye, specifically Matt Fraction era, which is why I really love the show. That was not a spoiler. Not
No,
a
it's okay.
spoiler.
It's fine. I was going to say,
Spoiler,
if someone wants to learn more about Hawkeye, what's a trade paperback they should look for?
Matt Fraction.
Matt Fractions? Okay, got it. Maybe something you may be able to look for at your local comic shop when you go to Free Comic Book Day this weekend, where all the sales are going to be going on and things are going to be flying like crazy.
They actually just released a complete collected edition of the whole Matt Fraction run, too.
There you go.
Is it an epic collection or an omnibus?
I think it's an omnibus.
Oh my. Did I tell you I bought my first omnibus a couple weeks ago?
Are you talking about a succubus?
Hey. We're talking about an omnibus, which is a form of a comic book storyline.
Wait, not a succubus?
No, that's a different show, remember? Anyway, so Kelly, did I tell you about my first omnibus?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I bought Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man run, my first omnibus.
Good choice.
Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man run, which I believe was 16 issues, I want to say. Maybe more. I don't know, but it's in the omnibus, which is over here in my collection. So there you go.
There you go.
The more
take
you
these
know.
Thin Mints away from me.
What was that, Dave?
Somebody take these Thin Mints away from me.
Okay, hand them to me.
Hand them to me.
Hold on a second, Dave. Let me hand those over for you. No, hand them over again. There you go. Thank you. Kelly's got them.
Got them. Thank you.
All right, Kelly, you're welcome. Anyway, Dave says, let's see. Dave says I put he's referring to the Hulk's earlier line. I put something in my man the guys, but I didn't think these pants would fit until I shrunk into a regular shirt.
Yeah, another good moment in this movie.
That's different, pal. That's different. And then Hawkeye says, or Dave says, Hawkeye, my go-to weapon is 2 sticks and a string.
Yep.
Good for you, Dave.
What I love in this movie, now we are really getting further into this movie.
Yeah, we're at the point where Loki is unleashing his attack on the helicarrier. Things are falling apart, and the Avengers are trying to team up to save what is left of the helicarrier so they don't fall out of the sky completely.
But one thing we never see in any comic book is Green Arrow, Hawkeye, any of these guys ever running out of arrows. I love how when they're in New York, Hawkeye reaches and like,
oh, I love this. Zip.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Saturday Night Live skit?
You have not.
No,
I haven't. Jeremy Renner. Oh my goodness, it's fantastic.
Right,
I think he was on Saturday Night Live when when this movie first came out, and like everyone else is fighting. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna spoil it, but I'll still send it, or you still need to see it. But
yeah, I'll watch it.
Everyone else is fighting, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm out of arrows, so I'm done." And they're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I had 10 arrows and I took out 10 guys. You're welcome."
So now we see zombie Hawkeye fighting Black Widow. Black Widow's trying to get her partner back, and Thor has been locked in the cage that was originally intended for, I believe, the Hulk, if not Loki himself.
It was the Hulk,
and Loki is about to drop Thor like a bad habit. But wait a minute, Phil Coulson has something to say about this.
The humans think us immortal. Shall we test it?
Hey, do you like this gun? I don't even know what it does. Even I know.
Oh,
even I don't know what it does.
That's what it does.
You want to find out? Oh, still hurts.
Or does it? See, this is where hindsight's 20/20 for me.
All right, see, this is where I'm going to actually agree with Dave for once in my life, because Dave, hindsight is 20/20, which I agree with you on in general case, but in this case, he to me, at least as far as I'm concerned, despite what happens in the events of, I believe it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the other things that came after that, Phil Coulson is 100%, to me, he is dead. Doesn't exist.
With Kevin Feige.
He's 100% dead as a doornail. When he died in this movie, he died, period.
Well, so Kevin Feige, I think, is doing his best to make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. not canon, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I would say, because that was the whole deal with
him and Ike Perlmutter.
Yeah, and they finally eventually separated the two and put him in charge of everything. So yeah, he does not care about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, that's good, because to me, Phil Coulson died 10 years ago.
Right.
Especially not a show that I don't think I should mention because it was the absolute drizzling, what's.
All right, Bruce Pritchard.
Anyway. Well, and now that the multiverse is a thing, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does have a passionate fandom, there is room for it to exist
as part of the multiverse.
Somewhere in the multiverse.
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a great first season, but anything after that was horrible.
The first half of the Ghost Rider season, I didn't mind.
I didn't even know Ghost Rider was in Agents of
He
Yeah,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
was,
Robbie
but it was a
Reyes
different
was,
iteration of Ghost Rider,
yeah.
though. It wasn't the original Johnny Blaze.
No, it was the Robbie Reyes version.
Well, see,
Thank
that's
you.
how I quit watching it.
Hey, I wish I knew how to quit you. Anyway, um, I'm sorry. Different things for different properties.
That's you going on the tangent this time, not me.
I know I'm sick and tired of you.
Oh, I love
Anyway.
this.
Anyway, I don't think Phil Coulson's going to get
Coulson
up
on
after
This
this.
is
death's
such
door,
a
he's still
good
talking smack.
monologuing villain speech.
Fine, I'll just take
You
my
It's because
ball and go
Loki
home.
is such a good villain.
Monologuing. He's such a good villain. Tom Hiddleston, the best.
You're-
What's
What is
funny?
the- Whoa! Look at that blast from that. Oh my goodness. So that's
So
what
that's
it
what
does.
it does.
That's what it does.
That was a good shot, though, right?
I
All right,
will
I'm gonna
say,
pose this
unlike,
question.
oh yes, go ahead.
Yeah, again, slightly off topic. What's a kind of a
What hasn't been off topic tonight, man?
I know that's true. Who is a slightly offbeat superhero that you'd like to see get a live action movie?
Ooh.
Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl. A lot of people will say Squirrel Girl.
How about this?
I'm
Aren't they
thinking
already
so.
doing a Squirrel Girl movie or animated series with Anna Kendrick as the voice?
I
Yeah, I
don't
think so.
remember if they've announced anything on that
They
yet.
Isn't
were
Anna
going to
Kendrick
be
supposed to play the
doing-
role?
Okay, so Anna Kendrick wants to play the role. Everyone wants her to play the role, but no, they had a planned live action TV series with the AT&T spokesgirl.
Mm.
No,
But-
no.
Well, it was too gay, so it
Well,
got.
that's a story
it got
for another
scrapped.
day entirely.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. That's a whole
Good.
nother
That's another tangent for another one of Kelly's shows.
I'll stay out of this one.
I think Dave is going to sit this one out, but anyway.
Anyway,
No, here's
Dave,
you. As far as other characters go, I mean, here's the thing. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this character because I really like. Granted, this is going off Marvel. This is DC now. Sorry, but listen, Marvel and DC fans can get along, right? Most of the time.
No. What are you talking about?
I know they never get along,
Not
right,
if you
Kelly?
ask Twitter, anyway.
That's a sad thing about our reality. But anyway,
I feel
So-
like Marvel and DC fans have a lot more crossover than we like to
I think they
admit.
do. But anyway, this character I'm looking forward to seeing. I think he's going to make an appearance in what's the movie that's supposed to be coming out? It's either later this year or next year. I can't remember when they said the release date was. And someone correct me in the chat. Dr. Fate. I'm looking forward to seeing Dr.
Black
Fate.
Adam, yes.
Okay, I'm looking forward, as someone who grew up watching Pierce Brosnan as James Bond, to see him playing Dr. Fate.
Yes.
That's going to be
I
something
can
to
get
watch.
used to that.
I am very much looking forward to seeing how Bond, James
It'll
Bond,
definitely be interesting.
is going to play a different a certain iteration of Dr. Fate because Pierce Brosnan, every time I look at Pierce, I love you, man. I see you as James, but in this movie, Black Adam, he has a full beard. So he is like
Ooh.
completely changing his image here for this character. And to see him wearing the helmet and the blue outfit, Kelly, I know you're going to freak out at this. I'm looking forward to seeing how Dr. Fate fits in to the overall DC universe with Black Adam. I'm curious. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. So technically, I'm already getting my wish, Kelly, because Dr. Fate is going to be featured in a different film. Anyway, that's my answer. Anyone else have a tangent they want to go on that they haven't yet in the last 2 hours?
Not yet. Give me a time. Give me time.
Anyway,
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll go
I
ahead and
think
give
we
you
just
guys
lost
mine.
someone very near and dear to the Avengers' hearts, and now we are in the war room where things have settled. And
All right,
Fury is
so
about to give a eulogy.
Here is where I go into my topic I talked about earlier that I said I'd get into at this point.
There are the trading cards.
Yep. I think Nick Fury should possibly be considered a anti-hero at this point in time.
Accurate.
Because Nick Fury really, I think, wanted Coulson dead to make the Avengers get together. If it wasn't for Coulson's death, I don't think we'd have the Avengers. I think Nick Fury might have put Loki where he put him, and I think he might have known Loki was a hologram at the time to get the Avengers to, dare I say, assemble. I do think that Nick Fury is maybe this anti-hero pulling some nefarious strings in the background for the quote-unquote greater good.
Well, maybe he'll go full-on evil in Multiverse of Madness.
They called me Mr. Glass.
Yeah.
No,
Which,
wait.
by the way,
go.
I actually...
I
Yeah,
like
wrong.
it.
I would say wrong. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if they're going to call him Mr. Glass, but I did watch Unbreakable for the first time during lockdown, and that movie's freaking awesome.
For the first time?
During lockdown, yeah.
Oh,
Welcome.
dude. anything.
I know it took me 20 plus years to finally see the gosh darn film, but I did. And then I went to Tarjay the next day and I got it on 4K Blu-ray. So there you go.
The first 3 or 4 M. Night Shyamalan mainstream movies are amazing.
I think Unbreakable is my favorite though.
And then what happened?
And then
Yeah.
it gets
And then
bad.
it just went on a weird ride
say
that
he
no one
started
cared
buying into
for,
his
and then
own
he
hype.
came back to prominence with what was it, The Visit, and then he did it with Split. Speaking of X-Men, with Professor Xavier and the young version of Professor Xavier himself, James McAvoy, in Split, which is a really freaking weird, twisted, freakish psychological thrill that if you've not seen that film yet, treat yourself and watch Split because it's really good. Anyway, we're going off a weird tangent that has nothing to do with the Avengers.
It does kind of, sort of.
Well, sort of, kind of, maybe, sort of, kind of
We
not.
talked
But anyway,
about Unbreakable, which is,
Unbreakable is a great film, by the way. Anyway, Dave says, oh, so that's what it does. Dave Mattingly says, I recommend you guys check out something known as Welcome to Level 7's podcast.
Interesting.
Okay. Might have to go off the beaten path here. And then Dave says, offbeat hero I'd like to see from DC, The Creeper. From Marvel, it's Death's Head. From the indie comics, Flaming Carrot.
Interesting.
I have no idea what that means, but okay.
That's interesting. All right.
Yeah, I'll give you guys my answer to that question when we're done here for a second.
Sure, yeah. And then Dave says, Ryan, it seems odd that one bearded Bond known as Pierce Brosnan is going to be Dr. Fate, and another bearded Bond played by Timothy Dalton was Chief in Doom Patrol.
Ooh.
That is true.
DC's just collecting the bonds. I am here for it.
The best Bond, and I'm going to go on a tangent here.
Again.
We talked about Bonds. Here is my hot take. You ready?
Oh, boy.
The best Bond, supplanting Sir Sean Connery, is Daniel Craig.
I'm gonna say a lot of people would probably agree with
Daniel
you.
Craig revolutionized what James Bond should be.
Truth be told, I haven't finished it yet, but I'm halfway through watching the last one, No Time to Die. I'm digging it so far.
Oh, it's so good.
Dude, I'm halfway through it, Dave. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing, especially
It
because
is so good.
there's these funny comments that come in through the movie that you don't expect it to, but it just happens. And then when he teams up with Paloma, played by Ana de Armas, in the club scene, I'm like, what is going on? This is weird, but I like it at the same time. She's like, I've only had 3 weeks of training. I'm like, what? How can you be a secret agent? You've had 3 weeks of training. That makes no sense.
There are, every Bond has had bad Bond movies.
We're looking at you, Roger Moore.
Yeah, but the best thing you can say about Daniel Craig's version of James Bond is the worst Daniel Craig Bond was Quantum of Solace. And even
love
that
movie.
is a good movie.
Even that is a good. I like that movie. You know what, Dave? In the words of our good friend Jimmy Boy, I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
A lot. I love Quantum of Solace. You know why, Dave? Because I like revenge movies.
I do too.
Quantum
I love
of Solace is a solid revenge film.
And Casino Royale, as a guy who plays poker, I could sit and watch that poker scene all day.
Hey, well, let me ask you this, Dave. Have you seen the other movie that centers around poker, Rounders?
Yeah.
I mean,
come on.
Every night, Dave, it's check, 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 check. You know what? Pay him. Pay that man his money. Anyway, Dave, that's a good movie. Kelly, if you have not seen Rounders, you got to watch that. It's a good. It's a really good, solid Matt Damon movie.
Or 21.
Yeah, 21's good, but I think Rounders is slightly better.
Yeah, I like 21 better just because it gets into the math of everything.
True, and it actually gets into the whole scandal that broke out with that situation that happened. But at the same time, Rounders is pretty darn good, man.
Unfortunately, 21 does have Kevin Spacey in it, though.
Yeah, but that was granted. This was before. I mean, he was still doing probably nasty stuff behind closed doors, but at the same time,
like I said about the Avengers before, you can't put 2022's modern era thinking into a 2010 or 2002 type movie.
By the way, Dave goes on to say, Dave, I don't think Fury was that evil. Think of his line in Avengers Part 2, which, by the way, Avengers 2 is not good. About Banner and Natasha, you hope for the best and you take what you get.
I see that, but I think you got to look at Nick Fury's arc. I do think in Avengers 1, he was that anti-hero, and he's kind of getting into a more hero state in Avengers 2, 3, and 4 and going forward.
By the way, Dave says if you like the movie Split, you need to see Moon Knight. I will get on it, man. Jeez.
So here's a question for you.
Good Lord.
And this kind of ties back to that Nick Fury arc.
Yes.
knowing the end of Avengers or is it Captain Marvel? It's either Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, where we see Nick Fury is maybe not Nick Fury.
That's Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay,
Oh.
okay. So when does a Krill take over Nick Fury's body?
I would say the Skrulls don't take over; they mimic. They don't take over bodies. It's not
Okay, well,
invading
when does a Skrull become Nick Fury? So
I'm gonna say you're right. That's a good question.
Maybe we'll see that. Maybe we'll see that this weekend in the Multiverse of Madness.
And then this Nick Fury arc, as I say, not Nick Fury.
Seems a bit far-fetched.
Things
but,
that make you go,
And Kelly is thinking to herself, "Am I thinking about these movies all wrong?" By the way, Dave Mattingly jokingly, and I do mean this jokingly, says my favorite Bond actor is Woody Allen.
Oof.
I don't know where that came from, but that is completely wrong. 1,000%. I don't know where that came from. By the way, was Mia Farrow there? I didn't see her.
Oh boy.
Brother.
Sorry,
Anyway.
that was a line from Seinfeld. That was the episode where he says, "These pretzels are making me thirsty." Which, by the way, I had some French fries earlier this week, and I dumped a ton of salt on those bad boys.
Oh,
boy,
boy.
those pretzels made me thirsty, man. My goodness gracious.
Hey, so I know this is a tangent, and
Oh man, oh god, another
Dave
one.
Mattingly, Dave,
We're about to get a really pivotal scene here.
Okay, well, do you want me to wait till the pivotal scene's over?
I mean, as soon as Natasha Cap and Hawkeye are done doing their badass walk through the hallway, saying we're taking over this plane here, give it a minute.
What's the old joke from the running joke from Clue? To make a long story short, too late.
Too late.
Yeah. But no, here's my question.
Here we go. We're seeing certain things assemble, guys. Teams are getting together now. It's like, we gotta face this thing head on.
So today is
Son, just don't.
Son, just don't.
Today's May the 4th, right?
Duh.
Yes.
Can we talk about the Obi-Wan trailer?
No, because I refuse to watch it because it has too many spoilers in it. I'm not watching it.
Why am I going? Hold up.
Yeah, you're glaring again.
I'm better now.
There you go.
I got better.
Got better. Anyway, by the way, Dave, hello there.
Hello there. No,
Hello
you
there.
need to watch this trailer because it doesn't have spoilers. But here's where I'm going to talk about Obi-Wan for a second. Here's our tangent.
We're like 2 hours.
No, here we go. I'm done now after this. I love how we see in Obi-Wan how Obi-Wan and Uncle Ben are actually arguing with each other. And we see why in New Hope, Ben tells Luke, "Oh, that's that old crazy man that lives up in
That
the
wizard's
mountains."
just a crazy old man.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a really good line.
Yeah, you get into why Owen and Owen and Obi-Wan hate each other.
That wizard's just a crazy old man. Tomorrow, I want you to have that droid taken up to Anchorage.
Like I said, I love that they included that interaction. I
do too. Dave Filoni, if you F up Obi-Wan, I will riot.
Dude, have you seen the poster that came out when that thing dropped?
Oh,
Dude, that poster is beautiful. Like, I want like one of those displate metal posters made up of that. So
I will look.
I'm pretty sure Ewan McGregor wouldn't let them.
No, he won't.
Obi-Wan.
All right, here is my hot take. You ready?
Oh, Iron Man's about to confront somebody.
Yeah. I actually think that Hayden Christensen does not get the love he deserves.
Because he doesn't
Thank
deserve
you.
it.
Yes.
He doesn't deserve it.
Hayden
He does
Christensen
too.
deserves
He's terrible.
No. Okay.
Hang on. I'll
For
say
those
this.
and for those watching with us, pause your Avengers right now. Pause it. Pause it because we are going to get into a fight. I'm pausing mine. I'm pausing mine.
I don't know if we can because as they say in show business, Dave, the show must go on.
The show must go on.
We're going to defend Hayden Christensen right now, though.
Hayden Christensen did
I'm not pausing the movie for you or the audience for that matter.
Hayden Christensen did a perfect job of playing the role he was given by George Lucas. George Lucas said, "I want you to play this brooding, pansy-ass kid."
I don't like sand.
Well, that's the line and the way George Lucas told him to play it.
Hey, by the way, he looked up at Hayden and he said, "I want you to say it faster and more intense." That's all he said throughout all 3 of those movies.
All right. Here's all I'm going to say on this subject, and then I'm actually going to have to tap out because I got to get to bed because I got to work in the morning. I got to get these kids to bed.
Oh, sorry, Dave or James. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
It's fine. All I will say on the Hayden Christensen thing is there's 2 things no actor can ever overcome: crappy writing and crappy direction. And those prequels had both of those.
Amen.
My man.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
If you watch the scene on Mustafar between Obi-Wan and Hayden Christensen,
Just
that
amazing.
is the best Star Wars scene of any of the 11 movies.
I'll do
Any
you
of
one better. Listen, and again, hear me out on this. When Hayden Christensen doesn't have to talk, when he just has to emote,
He's amazing.
he's good.
No.
Like,
And
look
even-
at that scene where he's at the Jedi Temple, Padme's back in her apartment, and they just have to act with that music over them, and you feel that tension. It's a good scene because they don't have any of this crappy dialogue they got to spew out.
And now we're going to see Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader against Obi-Wan's Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan. Oh
With
my
a
God.
competent script and a competent director.
This is going to be...
I think people are going to convert to Hayden Christensen.
Look, Ryan, I know this is a family show, but I'm going to, as a geek, as a Star Wars guy, this is going to be orgasmic for me.
in family friendly terminologies here on this show, which by the way we're trying to celebrate anyway. Some of us are more than others. The 10th anniversary of Marvel's The Avengers. You are about to have what is known as a nerdgasm. That's what you're saying.
There it is.
Okay, it is. I will have a nerdgasm.
Yes,
when
that
you
is
get
the family
that
friendly
fight
term we use on this show.
Yes, when you get that fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader,
which I am dreading, by the way.
Oh my God,
dreading that.
Anyway,
they could have put anybody in that suit, but yet they went back to Hayden. I don't understand that.
Because Hayden Christensen is Darth Vader, other than James Earl Jones.
No, it's actually James Earl Jones who's really Darth Vader, but I digress.
No,
well, technically, you're both wrong because it was David Prowse who was actually Darth Vader.
Yeah, but when you think of Darth Vader, I think of the voice, not the guy in the suit.
Right.
I have brought justice to my empire. I mean, come on.
No,
again,
terrible.
This is me being the FCL competitor. I'm going to correct you. I brought peace, freedom, and security to my new empire.
You're right.
Exactly. Yeah.
You are correct.
Anyhow, so like I said, I got one other thing I'm going to say, and then I got to tap out.
Oh, and and before you go though, James, feel free to share your last words with us, and also let the person know whether they're listening or watching this, where they can find you online and all the projects you got coming up. But James Shimo, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, last thing I will say when we were talking about offbeat superheroes earlier, I'm going to throw one out there that I guarantee none of you guys were thinking of. Freakazoid.
Ooh.
I think Freakazoid would make a hilarious...
Everyone's calming down to Freakazoid.
Yeah, think about it. He's a kid-friendly Deadpool. Basically, he's that random. He's that offbeat. It works. Anyhow, but yeah, if you guys want to follow what I'm doing, you can follow my podcast. It is the Wrestling Ramblings and Rages podcast. I do that podcast with my buddy Ryan Payne and Brenton McPherson. I've got a couple of episodes in the can that I need to get uploaded, and I will do that as soon as possible. But you can find us Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, any of your podcast or podcatcher apps. You can also find me. I'm getting ready to start a brand new YouTube channel. It's called Random Shimo-nanigans.
Oh, I'll be
doing movie reviews, Shimo's marquee movie reviews, and I'll be starting off with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So be on the lookout for that.
Awesome.
Congratulations, man. Sinister James Shimo, on behalf of myself, everyone here at the show tonight, on behalf of Kelly and Dave Adams, who doesn't want to seem to shut up about his stupid tangents. Thank you for being with us. Sinister James Shimo, good luck to you with your projects. And we may or may not see you in a trivia match somewhere down the line. So, with that being said, take it easy, James. We will catch you on the flip side. And by the way, happy Free Comic Book Day, happy Star Wars Day, yada, yada, yada. That's it. Have a good night, brother.
Ta-ta for now.
See you, man.
Hey, how do I sign up for one of these trivia things? I put in my little form, and I need to be on one of these trivia shows.
It's a bit of a different system that he's in. So you're gonna have to, if you want to ask him more, he knows more about it than I do.
Okay.
So hit him up on Twitter.
I will.
At James Shimo on Twitter, and send him a DM, and he'll answer your questions because I can't answer them for you because he knows more about it than I do.
Okay.
Anyway, to the business at hand, if we can just please, for the life of me, concentrate on the greatness that is 2012's Marvel's The Avengers. For Kelly's sake, for the person who's been watching this for the last 2+ hours of their life, we are at a pivotal battle in New York City where the heroes are battling it out with Loki. Some of them are arriving a bit late to the party than others. As we are seeing here at the, I'm trying to think here, 1 hour and 45, going on 146 mark, hour 46 minute mark. The plane has crashed into the city. Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Captain America have finally arrived in the Battle of New York, and they are trying to assist in getting innocent civilians out of harm's way. And an even bigger, momentous moment in this film is upcoming. And trust me when I tell you, when this moment happens, this is when all 300 people in our theater in my state of Maryland lost our collective minds and said, in our minds, we're thinking, shut up, take all my money. I want to see more of these movies, please. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, Loki is controlling, or the general of the Chitauri, which are arriving by the portal that is being opened by the Tesseract on top of the Stark Tower, which may be renamed later on, and they are battling it out in New York City. And let me tell you something. These Chitauri are taking no prisoners, and that is an ugly, ugly picture that Dave has up on the background of his
beautiful.
Titantron.
I approve.
It is horrendous. It is ridiculous. And I'm going into this new series that is about to debut on May the 27th, 2022, extremely cautious, extremely skeptical, because me and a few other fans are wondering, why do we need this series when we already know what happens? I don't understand it. Very skeptical. I watched the teaser trailer that debuted a few months ago, and I was like, okay, this looks all right. This looks fine, but I'm not 100% convinced yet. But I'm still going to sit down and I'm going to watch these first few episodes of Kenobi and see what happens.
Okay, so
just got redeemed.
Let's do this, Ryan.
Can we finish watching the movie first?
Well, no, hold up. May 27th, and then 6 weeks after that. Do we know the date? Kelly, do you have that date, by the way?
Do we know the date yet?
What's the last date of the last Obi-Wan episode?
Does anyone know that, by the way?
So it's 6 weeks after May 27th?
Yes.
Yeah, do we know a date for that, by the way?
I will figure it out.
Figure it out real quick, because as God is my witness, at 9:06 Central on May the 4th, I want it to be known, and I want Ryan to say this over the airwaves. In 6 weeks from May 27th, Kelly, did you figure out that? July 1st.
Oh, it's the week of the 4th of July.
Yes. Okay. So on July 1st, maybe July 2nd, I want to do a podcast with the three of us here.
Oh, my goodness.
And I want Ryan to apologize to David Kelly because he has been brought over to the Hayden Christensen was the correct actor to play young Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader before he becomes the true Sith Lord.
Come to the Hayden Christensen side. We have cookies.
We have look. I just finished my cookies. You saw I had cookies.
You did during the earlier portion.
You shared them with me.
Exactly.
So are we writing this down? We down July 1st,
July 2nd. Yes.
We'll do July 2nd. We'll do
July 2nd.
How about this, Ryan? We will revive Geek at Birth if we haven't before July 2nd. Geek at Birth will be back, and we will have Kelly. We will have Ryan, and we will have the golden voice of the South, the human jukebox, Dave Adams. And we will talk about all 6 episodes, and we will hear Ryan apologize and say that he is a now Hayden Christensen fan. Deal?
I'll even wear my Leia wig that time.
Oh, will you? Will you wear your outfit or just the
I'll
Leia
be allowed
wig?
to.
Do you have the Leia Mark Wade outfit?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, why don't you wear the Mark Wade outfit? Because I just read that trade paperback some months ago, which, by the way, I read it because of Kelly's recommendation, #SupportYourFriends.
Thank you.
So why don't you wear that outfit on that show? And I will wear my one of my many Star Wars shirts.
It is on my calendar.
So you wrote this down?
July 2nd.
Okay. So
Kelly, are you going to be free on
we
July 2nd?
We can put this here on the comment section. We can put it down here in the arrows. Dave Adams, you have a deal.
All right.
You got it. I'm
All
in.
right.
I'm in.
Either Kelly or I will say, Ryan, you are correct. It wasn't the writing. Or you will say, Dave and Kelly, I misjudged you.
We'll exchange $10 in 1940s bucks.
There you go.
I brought it back to the movie. You're welcome.
Yeah!
As well, hey, they said it in another movie. You got to be prepared for all monetary possibilities. Get yourself some 40s clothes. Something inconspicuous.
So
anyway,
here's
50s clothes, but anyway.
Here's another cool Hayden Christensen fact.
Hey, Thor just arrived. Look at that.
Yes, he did. Hayden Christensen and I are
next.
exactly the same age. He was born on my birthday in 1981.
Who was?
Hayden
Oh, wow.
Christensen and I are
You
exactly
were born on the same day?
Yes.
So you're both 40.
41.
By the way, what was the name of the? Oh yeah, and Natasha says, "How are we supposed to do this as a team?" Well,
I love this.
By the way, this all seems horrible.
Yeah, I love Banner just showing up on a moped.
Well, he does have a new set of clothes too because he frightened some pigeons.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way,
we could do a little worse.
We could do a little worse. Sorry. No, we could. By the way, Banner's here. He is? And tell him to suit up. I'm bringing the party to you, Kelly.
I don't see how that's a party.
I don't see how that's a party.
You said the line. Ryan, I'm sorry.
The best lines.
This is the best part of the whole movie, guys.
Yeah, I'm always angry.
I mean, it might be a good time for you. That's my secret, Captain.
Such a good line.
It is
such a good line, and he delivers it
angry.
perfectly.
Oh my!
Ryan, I'm sorry I've hijacked your show.
Yeah, you've done it 50 billion times.
Then you knew what you were signing up for.
This is my favorite part of the whole. This is like one of my favorite parts of the whole movie right here.
Yeah,
and all of us in the movie theater were losing our collective minds.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, Ryan, I agree with Kelly on this. You knew what you're signing up for when you brought me on.
God, I love that Hulk pose. That Hulk pose is so good.
That moment.
This is the Funko Pop scene we have where now all of them are Funko Pops and
dude. Yeah. And by the way, going from composing Back to the Future to composing the Avengers theme, Alan Silvestri, bless that man's heart because he knocked it out of the park with this movie.
Alan Silvestri has quickly become a top 5 composer to me.
Oh, for sure.
John Williams, Hans Zimmer,
yes,
Danny Elfman, maybe, and then Alan Silvestri.
What about James Horner?
I'm not a huge fan.
Well, what about Howard Shore? Really?
No, I like that. I don't know. John Williams is the.
I mean, he is
composer.
Undisputable. John Williams is undisputable.
And then Hans Zimmer is
Hulk.
I'd almost say 1B.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost my mind during this scene when Hulk is just unleashing all the fury.
He just
going to town on these Chitauri punks.
So
I'm like, yes, I want more Hulkness. I want more madness. I want it all. Ooh, yeah.
So let's talk about maybe a failure on Filoni in this movie.
Okay.
Chitauri, not Filoni.
Not Filoni. Who's the other guy?
Kevin Feige. Sorry, you got me on the Star Wars crap.
Well, stop it. Anyway,
who got you on the Star Wars crap?
Yeah, that would be me. So maybe a failure in Kevin Feige here. The Chitauri as kind of the main bad guy or the sort of bad guy, they had only been around in Marvel Comics for about 8 years. They first they first appeared in 2002. I would have liked, if you're doing the first Avengers movie, I would have liked to have a more well-known bad guy team up with Loki. I didn't. Look, I am, like I told you at the beginning of the show, I'm a comic book nerd from way back, but I didn't know anything about the Chitauri because I was in college when it first came out, and that was when it wasn't okay to be a nerd. And so, like Kelly said earlier, I was hiding my nerddom and had stopped reading comics at the time, and so I didn't know anything about the Chitauri. So
we learned some things about him here. I mean,
we do, but we think that they probably should have gone with somebody that's more a universe that's more well.
You don't want to show all your cards too soon with a movie of this size because there's only so much you can do in 2.5 hours.
Well, but also they're non-characters.
Yeah, they're just drones.
But but that is the army that Loki uses. So if I want to know an army, why does he use this army? Why do they want the Tesseract? So I need to know their backstory with all this. And
I can understand. Listen, I'm a big proponent of I want to know as much about each character or set of characters while I'm watching the film, if not beforehand. But sometimes you just don't get that. You just got to go with the flow. And in this movie, as you're pointing out, these are good points that all of our panelists tonight have brought up during the course of, well, some of us are watching this movie. So And
I'm watching it.
Not really, but I appreciate that. But at the same time, you can just take things with a grain of salt. I mean, look at all the comments we've missed because of the other Dave. So Dave says, Dave, the Nick Fury diagonal sandwich theory, get the heck out of here. Well, maybe he's questioning your motives. I don't know. He also, gee willikers. Let's see, James, going back to what Shimo said before he had to leave the studio, I recently rewatched the TV series known as Freakazoid, and it sadly wasn't as good as I remember when I was younger. You know, that's the thing with a lot of these shows these days. They don't hold up as much.
That's sad.
Well, this all seems horrible. Is my favorite entry line, according to Dave Mattingly. By the way, Alan Silvestri knocked it out of the Shakespeare in the Park.
Oh.
Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
By the way, we were on this tangent, and I missed one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
Dude, you've missed all your favorite scenes, but which scene are you referring to?
Where Hawkeye does his no-look shot.
Oh,
yeah, he's like, hey, look at these Chitauri. They can't shoot worth a damn.
Yeah, or they can't corner. Or yeah.
Does he say corner or shoot?
Corner, because he's telling them they can't do a banking.
Look at this. We're seeing Captain America work together with Iron Man for the first time, and he's using his shield, getting up the arc reactors. I mean, look at how. Someone said in a recap of this movie going back, they said watching this movie was like watching the comic book come to life.
Yep.
And look at this. You see the Hulk teaming up with Thor. That is insanity.
Until.
Yeah, until Ragnarok came out, then they hated each other.
No. There's a scene very close to now where Hulk gets his revenge.
Yeah. It's like, hey, good job, guys.
Actually, it's more punching down.
Wait a minute. Thor says, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here it is.
Ooh.
Here it is.
Punches him right in the face. It's like, hey, that was for earlier. Now we're even. Isn't that right, Kelly?
Exactly.
And we also.
Dave Mattingly says Hulk gave Thor a love tap.
We also see the first line of Hulk as Hulk in this movie, too. Mm-hmm. Does anyone know what it is? It's coming up pretty soon.
Puny God.
Yes.
I just like it when Cap looks at him and gives him the classic Hulk line, Hulk. Smash. And he just smiles, and I'm like, yeah. Like, that's awesome. Like, I want it. I want it all. I want feed me more. You know, it's just so much fun.
Can we please never quote Ryback?
Hey, I only use it for Marvel references. That's all.
Okay.
I don't quote him every day of the week or twice on Sunday. By the way, Cap is doing very well against these Chitauri. I got to tell you.
I will be back in a couple minutes, guys. I need to go refill my water.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Take as much time as you need, Kelly.
It's the Geek at Birth staff by themselves.
Yeah, the reunion that nobody wanted.
Hey now.
Especially Ryan. He didn't want it either.
Gee, thanks, sir.
No, listen, it's all good. Listen, this has been a great event. We hope you who are watching this at home have enjoyed this. I know we've gone off the reservation a million times tonight.
But that's what I like about this. I mean, we're watching the movie.
But we've talked about MCU things. We've talked about things within Marvel. We've talked about things outside of the MCU. We've talked about things in other properties that are about to take place or things that have come to pass. And let me just tell you something. Watching this movie again, I remember 10 years ago going to see this opening weekend with 300 other, giant nerds like myself. And we were all excited, but at the same time, we were wondering, what is going to happen with this movie? Because we've never, up to this point, even though, if you want to know your history, Universal Pictures was the first studio to put together a cinematic universe with the Universal Monster films and the Abbott and Costello films. So they were the ones who put together a cinematic universe.
But it was never this big.
But it was never up to the scale that this film and others, that center around this franchise came. And it's not as, I guess, in a way, it just made so much history is what I'm trying to say. So what I'm saying here is rewatching this movie and seeing how these characters interact, seeing how well the writing was in this movie, seeing how well the acting was performed, and how the camaraderie is with certain characters and how the banter goes with other characters and how they're getting to know each other and how they don't like each other at first, but then they have to team up towards the end of the film for the greater good. It's just amazing and marvelous times 1,000 what the cast and crew were able to do with this film, because we were excited, but at the same time we were a bit nervous because we didn't know what we were going to get, right? We had no idea how this was going to work. And we walked out of the theater thinking, they got this. They know exactly what they're doing. They're having fun. They're introducing the characters without throwing too much in your face. They're letting the audience get to understand why this film is necessary, understand why these characters are necessary in certain scenes, and how everything can potentially tie together to form a bigger and more, expanded universe. And they've done that for over, what is it now? Almost 15 years. The MCU has
2008
been
was the
alive.
first one. 2008 was the first one.
Yeah, so it's going to be 15 years next year.
Yep.
Which is insane, right?
Yeah.
Which
I
you
can't
know
believe
that, Dave, me, you, and some of our friends, we're going to have to gather together
We need
again,
to.
and we're going to have to celebrate certain anniversaries of certain films,
Let's do it.
which is
Although
exciting to me.
I think you've told me that I'm not allowed back on any of these.
Probably not. But maybe if I get over my therapy and I go through therapy and
Hey,
get over my traumatic injury that was caused by Dave Adams, maybe I'll bring you back.
Hey, this is going to bring you ratings. I bring ratings.
I mean,
sir.
look at what we have here. We have over 3 people watching right now. We got one person giving us a like, which is, that's like 1 million viewers right there. I mean, you're
It
hitting
should
everything
be.
on the money tonight.
It should be.
And once again, I want to say thank you to those of you who have chimed in the chat, those of you who have chimed in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. Once again, we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Marvel's The Avengers tonight on, ironically enough, May the 4th is also technically Star Wars Day, but it's also the 10th anniversary of one of the greatest films in cinematic history. So you got that going for us too.
It's the 15th anniversary of one of the greatest films in cinematic history.
It's what now?
The 15th anniversary.
Yeah, we don't talk about that movie, but we will talk about this one for sure. And it's so enjoyable to watch this. And, once again, thank you all for joining us. Make sure you're sharing this with all 600 of your closest friends. They're going to like the way they look after watching this video and celebrating the greatness that is the 10th anniversary of Marvel's The Avengers. I guarantee it. And Kelly has returned from her commercial break. Kelly, are you okay now? Are you fully hydrated?
I am, and I'm
That's-
sorry that I'm mixing fandoms, but I'm drinking out of a DC mug.
Hey.
What's in the mug? Is it just water, or is there something else in the mug?
Is there Kentucky bourbon in there?
It's not Kentucky bourbon.
No. And it's
That's
not
what I was
Wisconsin
drinking
bourbon
earlier.
either.
It's not Wisconsin bourbon. It is something else from Wisconsin.
Oh.
What is it? You have to let us know.
Door County wine.
Okay. And
Hey, it's all good. This is a special occasion. Bring out the wine. Bring out the other drinks as
Okay.
well. Bring out the champagne.
Right.
Why don't you?
It's not Wisconsin, Ryan. You have to say it right.
I'm sorry. It's not Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
I'm sorry, Kelly. To be perfectly honest with you, I've never visited the great state of Alabama, nor have I visited the state of Wisconsin.
That's all right. Nobody's perfect.
I know,
I'm
right?
gonna have to Dave. I'm gonna have to remedy this at some point.
You
I'm
have to.
telling you, we have a castle filled with cheese and wine.
I'm
It is
Can we
coming
all
there.
go and just hang out together?
Please
I
do
am
come.
so there.
I think
am
Dave
so
and I are
there.
going to get on the first flight out and just get out there.
This seriously, this March Cheese Castle needs to start paying me advertising
Should they?
dollars
Okay,
because I invite people every cosplay cafe. Because
So I
No.
totally just
Everyone
heard
should
your
go.
Wisconsin accent there. This castle.
You just heard it. I have.
No, I mean,
She's been talking about it for the last 2+ hours of this broadcast.
I know, right? What's funny is before I went to college for broadcasting, Kelly. And
Woohoo!
before I went to college, I had a super thick Southern accent.
Which you
but-
still do, by the way.
I do, but if you had heard me
It's
20
flattened
years
out.
ago, yeah, if you had heard me 20 years ago, it really sounded a little bit like this sometimes. But if you get me
Right.
around the right people, it comes back out. But I
Mm.
have learned, and you had to go through diction classes in broadcasting school to get more of a Midwestern style of speaking.
Because that is the
Really?
That's the most-
default.
Yeah, that's the most neutral sounding diction in the country.
Which is weird to me.
It really is weird, but it's there really is no accent when it comes to the Midwest.
But
Oh
then
my
you get like slight little accents that you can pick
Yeah,
out with
You
different
get
states.
Chicago or Wisconsin.
Yeah. Don't you know?
Don't you know?
By the way, Dave says, that's my secret, Ryan. I'm always nerdy.
I love it.
Thank you,
Love it.
Dave. Thank you,
See-
Dave. Dave Mattingly, you are just on fire with the comments tonight, man. And by the way,
Dave's
we
bringing it
appreciate
back.
you and everyone else who has chimed in tonight, from the
do.
Dave, to Emily's, to, I believe, what was it, Reed came in here.
Yeah.
Reed
It's
was
been a
on for a bit.
blast, man. I'm telling you, these comments are really, 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 really ridiculously good looking.
So
So-
I also, Ryan, we have to give a shout out to my wife and Kelly's husband,
Yes.
who
Mm.
are taking care of the kids and sleeping in their bed and taking care of the house for allowing my wife, me, to be here and doing this, and Kelly, her husband, to allow her to do this. So to our significant others, thank you
Cheers.
for holding
Cheers.
down the fort.
Lift up your glasses
Cheers.
tonight, folks.
Yeah. Actually, let me raise my glass.
There you go. Woo! Thank you,
I might need to
loved
put
ones.
some more to raise my glass in here.
You gotta
So I will
hey,
say my kids are now in bed, so my hubby gets video game time, which I'm very happy that he gets.
oh,
that.
really?
Mhm.
Oh, that's lovely.
Look, even though my girls are in bed, that doesn't mean anything because my daughter is very anti going to sleep. So,
Oh, my kids went through that phase.
oh,
Now they wake up at sometimes they wake up at 2 a.m, but they entertain themselves by playing games, and we
I
really do.
can't wait till my girls get to be that era. Harper wakes up at 2 a.m. and comes into our room and says, "Mommy, Daddy, I sleep in your bed."
Oh yeah, we've been
Oh,
there.
I remember that phase. I
Ugh.
remember that phase, man.
You
Hey,
went through
listen,
that
we
phase.
were all children at one point or another.
Yes, we were. By the
We all
way,
u-
so
We
let's
all
bring it
used to
back.
call into our parents' beds and be like, "Yo, I can't sleep. Can we sleep in this bedroom?"
The nuke just went up into the Shikari ship.
Oh yes.
So,
Oh, and Iron Man's about to sacrifice himself
or
And this
is
is
he?
why he has the PTSD we referenced
because he tried to call
earlier.
Pepper Potts to say goodbye, and she didn't answer the phone. Kelly.
That is a very small, minute moment that not a lot of people bring back to that PTSD moment.
Yes.
It also shows that this is the first time I think we see Iron Man caring about somebody other than himself.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been a selfish genius billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Right.
Boy, he is falling. He is falling.
Not
That's a
slowing
pretty.
down.
That's a long fall.
Good job. Good job, Hulk.
Oh, Hawk got him.
You know what I'm actually sad about is that we
You're
didn't.
sad about?
I'm sad about.
Here comes the accent again.
Yeah. How
Now
much
that you
alcohol have
pointed
you
it
had,
out,
Kelly?
this is literally just the start.
Is Iron Man
so
dead?
It's just you pointing it out, I guess. But I'm sad that we didn't get more of Tony and Bruce like getting to be
Mhm.
science bros.
Who said we're not going to see that anymore?
Well, Iron Man's kind of dead. So.
Yeah.
Or
he's never coming back either.
Or
Well, I
is
mean,
he?
the multiverse is a thing.
He'll make a cameo. Big
But
deal.
they had such a great chemistry in the first film. And I guess the second
Please
film.
tell me nobody kissed me.
Hmm.
Did we win?
But at what cost?
Right.
At what cost?
Yeah, we won. Oh, hey. Good job, guys. Hey,
You
know what?
Right, yeah.
let's take the day off tomorrow, Dave. What do you say? Huh?
You might want shawarma.
You guys ever heard of shawarma? There's a shawarma place right there, 6 blocks from here. I want to go there and try it. Anybody want
2
some?
blocks, Ryan.
We're not
2
finished
blocks.
yet.
2 blocks.
We're
That
not
is
finished yet,
a-
Kelly. We're not finished yet.
The shawarma post-credit scene.
Yeah,
is
that was
hilarious.
added after the movie had already come out. That was post-production.
What was it? I think I saw something where they were all like cracking each other up.
Because
While
they
they
couldn't
were
get through
filming.
the scene.
Right. While they were filming it, they were cracking each other up.
They couldn't get through the scene. Yeah.
It's still one of my favorites.
Whoa,
Yeah.
look at this scene. Like, hey, you going to try to get up?
I know it doesn't set anything up or anything,
You're-
but I love superhero slice of life stuff, and it
Yeah,
was
I do
just
too.
so silly, and the fact that yeah, it's just
Yep.
still one. of
You
my
know what, Dave? If it's all the same to you, I think I'll have that drink now.
favorites.
So many good lines uttered by so many wonderful actors and actresses during the course of this film.
Who actually wrote the script for this film?
Do we know who it was?
I am looking that up now.
Thank you.
It says screenplay story by Zach Penn and Joss Whedon. Screenplay by Joss Whedon.
That
you go.
does not surprise me
It's Joss Whedon
as much as I do not like the man. He
with the
writes
behind the
it-
scenes drama that's happened more recently than in 2012. Yes.
Again,
Well,
we
Well,
can't.
other stuff happened as well, but I'm just saying, like, you know,
he writes good dialogue, though.
Yeah.
We'll
We
separate
can't-
the artist
from the artist. Yeah,
Right.
there's a difference there, Kelly.
And that's pardon to get into political stuff here, and I'm not going to
Mm.
I'm not going to wade too far into it, but that's a little bit of a problem I have is I get canceling people. I get that, but sometimes we need to separate the person from the work because yes, there are some really poopy people out there that do some really poopy things. You like how I kept it family friendly.
Yeah. I noticed what you're doing. Yeah.
But they are not the only people that do that work on the work that they were in.
Maybe some of them just haven't been caught yet.
Well, but maybe not. But so are we going to truly
hypothetically?
Yeah, are we going to punish? Are we going to throw the baby out for with the bathwater? I guess is my question.
I can still watch these movies and enjoy that. I mean, look what happened to the cast of Smallville and the behind-the-scenes drama that happened with them.
Exactly. And
I'm still listen. Kelly and I know this. I mean, I'm gonna love Smallville to the day I die.
Kelly,
no matter what happened behind closed doors, I can still hold on to those memories.
Well,
Kelly,
and Buffy was my first fandom, and that show I will always love, and I'll always appreciate it for the place it had in my life. But I'm sad for what people had to go through behind the scenes.
Right.
With the behind the scenes drama,
so
yes.
For me, it's like, again, like you said, we don't want to get too deep into it, but it's like, it's more everyone has to make their own decision about
it's up to them.
What they feel comfortable with.
And that's what I was going to ask you, Kelly, and pardon me if I'm getting too far into this, but you as the female resident on the show.
Is that obvious?
Really? No.
I thought I was hiding it.
Me nor Ryan are probably in the best place to talk about that because white male living in a white male dominated world. Can you speak to that a little bit? How do you feel as somebody that could be looked down upon in your place in the world?
Right. So I think that it's important to call out abuse when it's happening, and it's important to not give people the power to abuse. And I think it's really important, like you said, to look at things through the lens of the time in which they were created and to have those discussions about how much we can separate the art versus the artist, and that's personal for everyone.
Right.
And for me, like Buffy meant so much to me growing up that I'm just like, well, it kind of broke my heart. But at the same time, more than one person created Buffy and more than one person created this movie. And I love this movie. I'm always going to love this movie.
I do too. I get it. It's kind of the same thing. And I don't know how Ryan knows I'm a huge sports geek too. That's one of my other fandoms. I don't know how you are in baseball, but I grew up in the steroids era of baseball. And my senior year of high school was the Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa home run race. And to me,
I remember that.
They get a bad rap because history looking back on them, but they brought baseball back to the forefront. So to me, they always hold a special place in my heart. And I can't villainize them like people have villainized them now.
Right.
And so I always equate that to like the Me Too or the whatever era. These people have done horrific things, but we have to look at them with the eyeglass of where they were in time and history, and maybe separate the art from the artist.
That's basically, and I basically let everyone make their own decision, and I just don't tell people like just because it doesn't affect me that they have to enjoy something or vice versa.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fair
Same page.
We just had a political conversation,
and we didn't lose our collective minds.
Didn't lose our minds. America, watch nerd culture.
Can we? Yeah.
And here we go.
That's positivity right there to a certain degree. So
I'm going to quote the New Day and say we are the power of positivity.
I feel like it's possible if you can be respectful. Like,
ladies and gentlemen, that is a pro wrestling reference for those of you who have no idea what the frack Dave is talking about, as he hasn't talked about anything remotely related to the Avengers in the last 2.5 hours of this broadcast. But I digress.
I think he actually. First post-credit scene.
Oh yes.
Thanos. Thanos and
And
the
the
comic
best,
nerds went wild. and
yes,
those
we
didn't-
did.
Listen, when I was in the theater and this happened, I had no, because as someone who didn't grow up reading these comics, I had no idea what was going on. I just knew, oh, the army guy's talking to a bigger big bad that's going to appear later, but who
But
is he?
your
What does he
interest
want?
was
What's his
piqued.
Right.
motive?
Am I right?
So here is where I feel that they dropped the ball in later movies. They talk about, they talk about how to challenge them is to court death. And that's when we see Thanos turn around and go, oh, in the comics,
Evil smile.
Thanos is in love with death. The character
He kills off half the universe.
death. Not death as the figurative death, the character death. And that is the last time we see any mention of it in the MCU. You lose half of Thanos's motivation in the comics by taking that out. And I feel like that is the biggest ball drop, not in the that's what she said motivation, but that is the biggest ball drop.
Kelly, I don't think we've had enough wine.
That the MCU has dealt with here.
Boy, so many nitpicks from you, young man.
That really was
Well, I get it.
foreshadowing, and because literally the reason he wanted to kill half the universe is because he wanted to impress the personification of death, and that was perfect foreshadowing. And then they went with boop.
See, I didn't really read deep into that because once again, this is going back to my novice as a comic book fan because I've only been a fan for 5 minutes. So
I knew X-Men and not Avengers.
Well, yeah,
so
I knew
but...
I just didn't know as much about the other characters as we did here. But even so with that being said, I mean, when people saw that it was Thanos, and I'm thinking, okay, well, who is, like, I don't know who this guy is. And then people gave me like the 411 in the theater at the end of the movie. And I'm like, okay, so he's going to play a bigger role down the line. It's like, yeah, just stay tuned. He's a big bad. He wants to kill everything in the story. And I'm like, okay. And then some dude named Josh Brolin walked through the door and blew the arena to bits and did a magnificent job as Thanos in part 1 and part 2 of the last 2 Avengers films, known as Infinity War and Endgame. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the conclusion, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There might be another end credit scene. I'm not sure.
We get the shawarma scene. We do the
shawarma, but nobody speaks, so it's like a dialogue-less scene. So with that being said, we have reached the conclusion of 2012's, I should say, Marvel's The Avengers, celebrating the greatness, the 10th anniversary of Marvel's The Avengers. I hope you have enjoyed this special presentation here at Nerd Culture, hosted by myself and joined by our incredible panel of Dave Adams, James Shimo, who was here earlier on, as well as Kelly Gettner of Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. Oh my goodness, this was a magnificent time with everyone here tonight. I want to thank those of you who tuned in and watched this live. If you're watching the replay, thank you for being a part of this momentous occasion as well. We want to hear from you in the comments. Let us know. We want to hear it. What is your favorite moment? What's your favorite quote? What's your favorite thing about this movie? What were some of your favorite moments that led up to this film being made? What are some of your favorite Avengers comic book storylines? I want to hear it. I want to see it. I want to feel the greatness that is the Marvel Universe. So let us know in the comments, whether it's live or after the fact. We want to hear from you. Make sure you share this video with all 800 of your closest friends. You're going to like the way you look after watching this video.
Why does that number keep going up every time you say it? At first it started 200 friends, and then it was 500 friends.
Yeah, maybe I should have said, I'll bid $1, Bob. Listen, the reason I do that, Dave, it's called promo. It's called marketing.
Okay.
So look it up. Read the book written by Ryan Permison. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two about marketing. But with that being said, this was great. I had a wonderful time. It was great to see all the great panelists here tonight. It was great to see you who is watching this. I want to go around the horn here real quick, if that's even remotely possible, which probably isn't.
Hey,
Dave Adams.
I feel called out by that.
Dave Adams, final thoughts on 2012's The Avengers, and where can the person watching this find you online and everything that you have coming up? What do you got?
So I feel if we're doing just a final bow on this, the end of phase 1, going into phase 2, 3, and 4, I feel like this revolutionized the way we look at superhero movies. We no longer look at them as just single superhero. Like we get Doctor Strange coming out. coming on Friday. If we don't get somebody other than Doctor Strange in this movie, we are now disappointed as movie patrons. I feel like this and this movie really, and the MCU kind of going forward, changed the way we watched movies. Before the MCU came out, as soon as that end credit scene hit, we start cleaning up cleaning up our seats, kind of walking towards the exits, throw the popcorn away, and leave. Because of the MCU, because of this, we no longer leave the theater until the lights come on. So I feel like this movie, years down the road, will change, will get looked at favorably because of the way it changed the way we look at movies and the way we consume movies. We can thank Disney. We can thank Kevin Feige. I really think we need to thank Jon Favreau more because Jon Favreau probably paved the way for it. If you had told me that Happy would play an integral part in the MCU, I would have laughed at you.
Or the guy from that great comedic film in the 90s known as Swingers.
Right, exactly. I truly would have laughed at you. But Ryan, I want to say thank you for having me on. This was great. I know I brought this show down a lot of tangents.
You took us way off the rails.
There were some fun tangents.
Thank you, Kelly. Kelly, I like the way you think. You and I
we'll get to Kelly in a minute.
Yes, we are.
You and I are on the same wavelength. If you want to catch what I'm doing right now, I am in between geek podcasts right now. Every now and then, if I get the hair, Ryan and I will do our Geek at Birth podcast. You can catch those, all of our back episodes on the Geek at Birth Facebook page, Geek at Birth. You can catch my old stuff from Unrelated at Birth on the Unrelated at Birth Facebook page. Unfortunately, that is on pause as well. But right now, I'm doing a travel podcast called the Gold Gal Getaways Travel Podcast on Tuesday nights. Me, Josh Rippey of the WDW Couple, and Matt Manders, who are all travel agents. We talk about places you can go travel and how you can get there easily and stuff like that. It's just a lot of fun. But Ryan and I will be back with Geek at Birth sometime. And keep in mind, July 2nd, we will have a new Geek at Birth podcast.
The gauntlet has been thrown down. The challenge has been issued, and we're going to find out more in the month of July. Isn't that right, Dave?
Yes, when Kelly and Dave will be looking down the microphone at Ryan saying, "Ha, ha, we told you so." So that is where you can find me. And Ryan, I appreciate you for having me on, and thank you for dealing with my crap. I know that I'm a lot to handle.
Oh, my
but
goodness.
You know
in more
I'm
ways
fun.
than one, folks.
But you know I'm fun on this show.
Yes, no, you're not actually. No, yes, you are. And in the words of a gift that's used on the interwebs, I appreciate you. So bless this man's heart. Good luck to all your projects, Dave, and give our best to your family and your loved ones. Oh my goodness gracious, they are going to have such a good time on Saturday, May the 7th.
You best
Free
believe
Comic Book Day 2022. Make sure you visit your local comic shop and support your LCS. I want to turn things over to one half of the Phoenix Sisters cosplay, Dynamic Duo, known as Kelly Gettner. Kelly, final thoughts on 2012's The Avengers, and where can the person watching or listening to this find you online and all the projects that you have coming up? What do you got for us?
All right, so final thoughts. When they announced this, I was so excited. As we discussed, this had never been done before. This, as Dave said, literally changed the way we watch movies. It changed superhero movies. It legitimized superhero movies. I remember being a teenager and thinking, oh, like people online would be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they made a movie about this superhero or that superhero? People online would always be like, why are we even fan casting this? It's so silly. Or at least I would think that. I'd be like, this is just going to make me sad because it's never going to happen. So many of those characters have seen the big screen because of this, and that's awesome. This is just huge. Like the fact that they brought these characters together and made a cohesive shared universe. It's not always perfect, but it's amazing, stupendous, and marvelous.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Thank you. I can be found so many
Yes.
places. It's annoying. I am.
And Dave's wondering, I'm going to follow each and every one of them. Hold on a second.
Hold
Please
on.
do.
I will. You have got a new
Aw.
follower in me, Kelly.
You're so sweet.
God friend in me.
You got a friend
Friend in me. Go ahead, Kelly. Where can people find you online, even though we're
when the
about to belt out
world
to this
gets rough ahead.
So I have a new website, and
Ooh.
that
song?
details
Oh my.
all my creative projects. My first novel, my upcoming sequel to
Novel.
my novel,
Okay.
which is a superhero romance. It's
Woohoo.
very fun. And my podcasting stuff, my cosplay stuff. So that's all on kellygetner.com. That's KELLYGUENTNER.com.
Too many letters.
Too many letters because
Dave
it's
says,
German.
I'm not writing this down in my notebook right now on my desk.
I'm from Alabama. We don't talk that well. So
I mean, I married a German. They get
Oh,
drunk and they
okay.
throw in letters for fun.
dude.
Germans have good wine, Gewürztraminer.
Hey.
That's a good wine.
Yes, it is a good
So
wine.
if people go to www.kellygetner.com, they will find you.
They will find me. Also, you can go to linktree.com/PhoenixCosplay and find all my links there if that's easier to remember.
That's easier.
It's easier, yeah. Yep.
Well,
So
hold up. Gotta ask, is Phoenix your maiden name? 'Cause-
no,
Okay. I was like, Phoenix, Arizona? What the heck?
no. That is a story. Ryan, are you okay?
Just, don't ask questions.
We've been
just
here
go.
long enough.
Just go,
we
Kelly.
can, you know how the Energizer Bunny says at the end of each commercial, it just keeps going.
It just keeps going and going. I will.
Once again,
I will
Kelly
get the-
Getner has a story for us as he is sharing where you can find her online. Once again, that's www.kellygetner.com and Phoenix Sisters Cosplay. So, without any further ado, if you can give us the Cliff Notes version,
I'll
where
give you
on
the
earth
Cliff
does the name
Notes.
Phoenix Sisters Cosplay come from?
Okay, so my
Go
friend,
ahead.
my best friend Crayley and I bonded over loving Jean Grey, aka Phoenix from
Okay.
X-Men.
I like it.
We both dressed as her, and then we're talking to each other online. Well, she's living in Colorado and I'm living in Wisconsin, and we realized that we think a lot alike. And we also start realizing that we're having migraines on the same day when we're at different elevations in different states. And at some point, we made a joke about it being a Phoenix connection, and like we kind of joke that we have a psychic connection because we think a lot alike, and we'll like kind of read each other's minds. Not really. We don't really believe we're psychic together, but you know.
But
But yeah, basically. So that's where we got our Phoenix Sisters cosplay name.
I
And
like it. Picasso.
thank you. It's nerdy, it's fun, and we just booked our appointment to get our the Phoenix symbol tattooed in matching tattoos when she comes to visit me next. So
In Wisconsin.
to Wisconsin. Yep.
Don't you know?
I hope she doesn't mind me spoiling that on this episode.
Yeah.
But it came out now, so I'm really excited. We've been talking about it for years. So
Cool.
our husbands are not jealous at all. My husband was like, "Yeah, maybe I'll get a matching tattoo with her husband to spite you guys."
Goodness gracious.
That would be awesome.
Is the story time over yet?
Sorry. Yes, story time is over.
Are you done plugging your projects?
I'm done plugging my
Okay,
projects.
so-
I really did keep it short considering how much crap I do.
Kelly,
There's-
Ryan will never have you and I on the same episode again. I promise you
Never.
that.
Yeah, the next, because I do have a special announcement I'm about to make here. But anyway, Kelly Getner,
Uh-oh.
ladies and gentlemen, we love her. She's a fantastic person inside and out, and she's got a lot of great projects coming your way very, 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 very soon. So make sure you follow her in the most professional way possible with everything that's coming up. So with me, with yours truly, I want to take this opportunity to say thank
Whoa,
you.
big Ryan.
I know this is me on the Titantron. It's about
Full
time
screen.
it's about time I get my time in the sun. So once again, my name is Ryan. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. There is a link to my link tree in my bio where you can follow all the projects and different podcasts that I do, because I do a billion things, as Dave pointed out earlier. I'm probably one of the hardest working peeps in the podcast universe today. And
You
listen, I'm not even mad. I'm not mad because I enjoy what I do. And listen, if you enjoy something that you do, it's not called work.
Amen.
Let's just put it that way, shall we? Once again, we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Marvel's The Avengers tonight for this week, even though today was also Star Wars Day. And it was also New Comic Book Day. The finale of Moon Knight dropped, and everyone's losing their collective marbles on the interwebs. So, bottom line is, it's a great day to be a fan of something. Any day is a great day to be a fan of something, period. But today was an extra juicy special day, yeah. So if you've gone this far in the video and you like what you see, and you can tolerate our craziness where we go off rails and we talk about other properties that have nothing to do with the MCU, nothing to do with Marvel's The Avengers of 2012, hit that like button, share this video with all your friends, and make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash that notification bell so you are notified of when new videos go up on our channel respectively. I do a show called And I Quote on Saturdays at 12 p.m. EST. We interview content creators of all shapes and sizes that join us from any and all corners of the nerd universe. Yeah. And Kelly Gettner has been in a previous episode. That woman's been on my show before. Probably wouldn't notice, but
I haven't.
A little guest appearance from my Phoenix sister, Crayley.
And also, Crayley over there is playing Galaga. Probably wouldn't notice, but Dave Adams did.
I did. Always.
So thanks for being here. I do want to let you in on something. I was going to announce this last night during the course of our 20th anniversary spectacular for Spider-Man 2002. What a great film that is. Hey, it's still Marvel. It's still Marvel. We're allowed to talk about it. So I want to let you guys in on something. Coming up in a few weeks, our next watch-along is coming up a bit sooner than you think. So you want to know what the next one is? Here it is. Booyah! We are going to celebrate the 45th anniversary. Think about that for a minute. Think about it. The 45th anniversary of one of the most important, probably one of, if not the most important film that ever came out. Because if it weren't for this film, none of the films that came after it would have been possible. So you got to give credit where credit is due. And we're going to do it by watching the original theatrical version.
Can you find that?
I was going to say.
That's tough to find now. You have to have a VHS player.
Either that or I have sources that we can talk about in the backstage area after this break.
Ooh,
so
okay.
Don't worry, we'll talk about it later. But I just want to let you guys in on something. On Wednesday night, May 25th, 2022 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at It's Nerd Culture, we are going to celebrate the greatness, the epicness, the importance of Star Wars. The 45th anniversary. Hey, you only turned 45 once. We are going to go big. We got some special guests.
Star Wars
2 days before.
They are going to be joining us. And let me tell you something. You're not going to want to miss this.
Is Frank
we
Oz
invite
coming?
you to dig through your VHS collection, find the original theatrical version, or if you have another version of it, which we will talk about in the backstage area with the panelists later, and you have that version of it, bring it out on your DVD or Blu-ray player, whatever it is, and watch it along with us. Because we are watching specifically the original theatrical version of 1977 Star Wars. So that is the next one. Make sure you tune in for that. What was that, Dave?
Where Han did shoot first.
Damn right did.
And Kelly Gettner says, yes, I agree. So that's what we're doing. Star Wars. Listen, we know that today is Star Wars Day, but Star Wars Day is really on May 25th because that is when it all began. For the millions
and millions.
You know what? It's
of moviegoers around the world. Yes, Kelly?
It's just Star Wars month.
It is. By the way, what do they say on the interwebs, Kelly? This is the May.
This is the May.
This is the May. So we are going to celebrate that in style. We invite you to join us and dig through your VHS tapes, find a VCR that works, find a version online if you can. We're watching the theatrical version. We're not watching no special edition. No. We are going to honor the originalness of this film and watch George Lucas's first vision for this film of 1977. So that is the next one. Join us for it. You're not going to want to miss out because we got some special guests joining us. Maybe got some surprises, all kinds of really good stuff. Because as a famous person once said in a film that actually chronologically comes out before this one, I'm one with the Force is with me. Get ready, folks. It's going to be a lot of fun. So with that being said, my name is Ryan the Quotes, Ryan of Nerd Culture, however you want to slice and dice my name. I've been called so many different nicknames in my career. There's too many to choose from, Kelly. So with that being said, thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. And remember to stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Life is better when reading. Don't forget about Free Comic Book Day on Saturday, May the 7th. Visit your local comic shop. Get some free comics for the kids. Get some free comics for yourself. Support your local comic shops. And most importantly, may the nerdum be with you.
Yes.
Take care, guys.